Hey, what's going on, aspiring freight dispatchers? I'm Antoine West. I have Kizzie Howard here with Coast to Coast Logistics. She is my launch coordinator. She is your launch coordinator within the revenue launch system. And tonight, what we're going to be speaking about, we're going to be speaking about why aspiring freight dispatchers struggle to sign drivers. So that's one of the biggest constraints in the freight dispatch industry is signing drivers. So many freight dispatchers struggle with that. I struggle with that in the beginning. And tonight we're going to go over, I believe we got 5 reasons why aspiring freight dispatchers struggle to find drivers. And we're going to go over each and every one of those constraints tonight. I hear it all the time. Everybody, I see it online. I get on phone calls with people, and that's the biggest constraint freight dispatchers have. So basically, what freight dispatchers have is a top of the pipeline constraint. So many people think when they come into freight dispatching that they're going to be struggling at the end of the pipeline. That's the dispatching department. But most people or everyone guaranteed is going to run into a constraint at the top of the pipeline, not the bottom of the pipeline with dispatching. So many people concentrate on load boards and booking loads and learning the load boards, communicating with drivers, but that's the end of the pipeline, and so much comes at the end of the pipeline. So, hey, if you're here on the live tonight, what I want you to do, I'm using my headphones. I haven't used these in a while. I just want to make sure I'm a little bit more clear. If you can comment in the chat, let me know if I have some good audio. I want to know the audio is good. So if you can comment in the chat, let me know I have some good audio, and then we're going to move forward. Right, we're going to move forward. Going to go over some good information to help you generate some revenue and get straight to the revenue tonight. So just let me know. We're going to get started here momentarily. If you can just comment in the chat, if you can hear me, if the audio sounds good. Going to be getting started, letting you know some real information. I'm not holding back anything. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm letting you know all the information that I have over my last 10 years of experience. So if you can hear me, comment in the chat. Let me know how my audio sounds because I can't tell how it sounds on your end. So just comment in the chat. Let me know how that audio sounds. Kizzie's going to be right back. If I got good audio, let me know how it sounds before I get started. Going to be delivering some great value to you guys this evening because most people struggle to sign up drivers. And if you struggle to sign up drivers, that's the money. That's where the cash flow comes. The cash flow comes from your potential customers. So if you struggle to sign up drivers, that's going to affect your cash flow. So I see Clint. Appreciate it, Clint. I appreciate you for being here. You saying the audio is good. Appreciate that. Because what I'm doing, I'm giving you guys some raw content. I don't have time to have everything nice and fancy. I just want to give you the correct information to help you generate revenue. I have a lot going on. I run a proven operating system so that the system's operating every day, and that keeps me really busy. So, I don't have time for all the technology to verify the technology all the time. So I appreciate you, Clint, for letting me know that it's good. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So we go get right into it. So many people struggle to sign up drivers. And like I said, the drivers are the people that's going to be paying you money. They're your potential customers. So the way business used to be, I keep saying it over and over, business has changed a lot. Social media is good, but social media has changed business. And how it has changed business is we're not on we're not really on the real principles of business. Really, back in the day before social media, before you start any business, or the entire reason you started a particular business is because you see an idea of how to sign up customers in that potential business, right? I already know it's a lot different. I talk to a lot of people, and that allows me to get in their mindsets, right? So I know it's a lot different in 2026. People come into business because they hear information on social media and they're just thinking they can start a business. But really, like, you're supposed to start a business because you see an opportunity to sign up customers that's not being presented to other customers. So, and that's law, right? You see an opportunity to generate revenue that other people don't see. So back in the day, that's the entire reason for starting a business. But now people just listen to what they hear on social media, and that motivates them to start a business, right? So me myself, I don't want to start any business unless I see an opportunity that people aren't executing on. That's going to get me interested in the business. Not because what people are saying on social media. I don't care about what other people are saying. That's not going to make me want to start a business. I want to start a business because I see a opportunity, something that other people don't see. And then I believe if I implement that opportunity, I'm going to get customers to reach out to me, right? So the business world, like I said, I ain't gonna hold you. The business world is really stagnant. Most people in freight dispatching or any industry, most people this is what they're doing. They're watching free videos online, they're paying for training courses, and they're thinking about the basic things when it comes to starting a business, and they're not generating revenue. So we have to realize hundreds and thousands of people attempt to launch any business, but then it's a trickle down effect. At the end of the pipeline, the people actually making revenue is a very, very small percentage. And that's what we have to realize, right? Especially these days. So I have an outline that I'm going to be going over today, and I'm going to bring it up here. So we're going to go over this outline. 5 reasons why most freight dispatchers never sign up a truck driver or generate revenue. So, reason number one, the industry has been flooded with inexperienced dispatchers. The problem is, many people were taught that they could complete a short dispatching course, form an LLC, purchase load boards, start contacting owner operators, learn by dispatching their first client's truck. So this basically created widespread distrust in the industry. So to break it down, to get straight to the point, to break it down, what has happened, we have to realize so much information is free on social media now. And that's basically the operating system. Everyone is trying to use the same operating system. There's so many hundreds and thousands of people in any industry that believe they can listen to free information online and then implement that free information and generate revenue. But we have to realize so many people are using that operating system and intaking that value and believing they can generate revenue off of that same value that thousands of other people are getting for free. That simply won't work these days because, and I had to learn this. These are all things that I've learned over time as a trainer, as a mentor, as someone who has a proven operating system now. I had to learn that over time, after so much information is given out for free by so many different people, everyone's watching that same information and attempting to implement that same information. It gets to the point, as more people give out information for free, it doesn't work, right? You got to remember, it was a time and point in history where it wasn't as much information online for free because people wasn't just coming online. First of all, it was a point that we didn't have the internet. It was a point we didn't have social media. But as all those inventions came to be, got something, Kizzy? You can put
Yeah.
it out.
So I was just gonna interject right there because in the industries and any industry, even in the medical field, it was basically like it's who you know. And if you know, then you know type of situation, right? So then as technology and time progressed and more people start like yourself start getting on video and really giving all of the details or the information that people needed who wanted to get in the industry because they didn't know other people to give them that information. Now information became like wealth, and people would listen and people would pay for information. But now time has progressed past just information, and now we're in that stage where implementation is key. Implementation is king. That's what's going to get your flow of your wealth, your cash flow, because implementation is the step by step processes that need to be acted out and not just heard and wrote down, put in a notebook.
I agree. Like Kizzy said, like myself, like I'm part of the problem, right? Because I put out so much information for free, and you listen to this video, you're not the only person that hears that information. And then over time, as I put out more free information and other people come and put out the same free information, people hear that, and basically, that's an operating system. What we need to understand, that's an operating system. So basically, years ago, that operating system used to work where you can just hear free information and implement that free information and become successful. But now it's so much information, it becomes less valuable, right? So even I used to, one of my big things was selling training courses, selling mentorship. Hey, pay me this amount of money and I'll give you some mentorship. And I can still do that, but it's not as valuable anymore. So, where we're moving as business owners, what we want to do, we want to be in the future. We don't want to live for only July 30th, 2026. We want to see into the future and see what's next. And what's next is a operating system, right? Because information basically isn't as valuable because everyone has access to that information. So we have to remember that we got to go back and think about, before all this information was given out on social media, less people had access. Now thousands, hundreds of thousands of people have access to the same free information. So it's not going to do any good just hearing free information that's online, because that's the same operating system hundreds of thousands of people are using. So what that creates, just like in freight dispatching in any industry, people are attempting to start a successful revenue generating business off of this free information. And then it's like 97% of the people aren't generating any revenue. And that's in any business these days. But most people coming in, they don't think like that. They just see the free information like, oh, I can start a freight dispatch business. Oh, this is a good idea. I can make some money. But that's the same information everybody is hearing. So let's get back to the outline here. So as you see, many people were taught they can get a LLC, complete a course, purchase load board access. But this is what thousands of people are thinking about, these things right here, right? And to generate money, I feel like to make money, you can't just execute or implement what thousands of people are thinking. You have to go deeper than what the average. This is everything average people do, right? And I'll say I never wanted to be average. I never wanted to fit in. So you got to think about this is just what people who fit in are doing. Let's get it, Kizzy. You know, you got
Yeah,
some.
so I just wanted to chime in. So I just wanted to be clear for people to understand that yes, getting an LLC, getting your bank account, and all of those things matter. But what matters more is because those things still need to be done in order to structure the business, right? But what needs to also be done more is the actual steps to generate the cash flow to come into your business, into your LLC. Otherwise, you just pay for some paper to sit there. And most people who get this far think that they have a business without actually knowing the next steps to actually generate money or cash flow and revenue into your business.
Yes, I agree. So I think you have to think about are owner operators going are they going to sign up with you just because you listen to free information or because you took a dispatch course or because you got an LLC, you got a load board? Are people going to pay you money just because you have these things I have highlighted right here? No. Just because you have these things don't mean people are going to automatically pay you money. So this created widespread distrust throughout the trucking industry. So owner operators are very skeptical. A dispatcher's decisions affect the weekly truck revenue, rate per mile, deadhead mileage, fuel expenses, lane selection, broker relationships, driver home time, overall profitability. So, as a dispatcher, you're affecting all these things, and this affects a owner operator's trucking business, which affects their livelihood, their wife or husband, their family, you know, including kids, extended family. So we have to think that deep that a lot of our potential customers are taking care of families, husbands, wives, kids, grandmothers, mothers, you know, a lot of family members because they're a business owner. So I believe most people coming into this industry just think, oh, I just need to get my freight dispatch agreement. Oh, I just need to learn how to do this, whatever this could be. This could be knowing how to book a load. So most people just think about that, but they don't think further and think about the decisions you make or affecting people that the owner operator cares for, right? So the owner operator is not giving someone a practice assignment, right? So most what it is now, like years ago, when I first came in 10 years ago, yeah, maybe if owner operators heard you say, I can book the highest paying loads, or I can do your back office paperwork, and realize that's what most people are advertising. But in any industry, what most people are advertising won't actually generate revenue. We got to realize this is business owners. What most people are saying doesn't generate revenue. What most people are saying aren't actually even making any money. Years and years ago that may have worked, but now it's 2026 and that really won't make it in any money. So what people are doing right now in real time as we speak, people are coming in without any experience and thinking they're going to practice on somebody else's business, right? That's like somebody coming to me to help them launch their freight dispatch business, but I don't really have any real results and I'm just practicing on you coming to me to help you start launch your freight dispatch business, right? I'm just practicing. Most people are attempting to practice on an owner operator's trucking business and that won't work. So they are giving go ahead, Kizzy.
So when you said practice, it kind of just made me think of like when people go to the doctors or go to the hospital. It's called the practice of medicine. So everyone goes to the doctor and deals with doctors who are practicing in the beginning. Now, of course, quite naturally, over years, they come more experience with certain things. That's why you have specialty doctors, right? But it's the practice of medicine because everyone that comes into that industry is practicing at first. But you wouldn't want a doctor that's practicing or inexperienced in heart surgeries doing your heart for the first time, would you? You would
Right.
want somebody more experienced who has a proven track record of making sure that your heart is going to beat again after this surgery, right? So it's the same way with dispatchers. We're the experienced surgeons for the heartbeat of your trucking business if you're aligned with the right one. See, not everyone is experienced because they're practicing.
I agree.
So it's very important for owner operators to understand, or for people in general who are in the trucking industry to understand that having the best team and support for your trucking business is very critical and important.
Right. Totally agree. So keeping it 100 with you, the reason I switched from like training and mentorship to a proven operating system, like Kizzy said, think about somebody coming in for emergency service, the emergency surgery. That's what you're doing as a freight dispatcher. See, most freight dispatchers aren't going to think about that owner operator reaching out to you. Their business needs emergency service, emergency surgery, right? Because there's some pain points, it's some constraints. And I'll say, I believe, and I want to start putting it out there more. One thing that makes me really good at what I do is I was a combat medic in the United States Army, right? So I'm used to healing. I done saved plenty of people's lives, right? So that's the same aspect as a business needs saved. The reason owner operators are coming to us, if their business was just doing fine and flourishing, they wouldn't be reaching out to the freight dispatcher, right? You got to realize when you're a freight dispatcher, that owner operator's trucking business needs emergency surgery, right? And throughout the years, as more information from people like me, I take the blame, I raise my hand. It's my fault, right? It's my fault. And I say it's my fault because I'm here to solve what I did in the past, right? I made so many videos. Go ahead, Kizzy.
I just wanted to say, well, thank you for taking accountability in your part of, spreading the information. But like you said, at least you're still here for the next phase of now sharing with dispatchers or owner operators or those in the trucking industry that it's time to get over that curve now and go into implementation and actually doing the work that needs to be done,
Definitely.
because you wouldn't want a surgeon to just talk you to death and say, "Hey, I can get you a new heart and get you a new heartbeat and get you back running and going to the gym in no time." You would want him to actually show you that he can get you back on your feet in no time.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
thank you for just taking accountability for the part that you contributed to that.
Yep. Definitely. So what I'm saying is I put out so much information, good information, but I put it out for free. And then people are listening to that information and they're attempting to start a freight dispatch business. So I have drawn or attracted a lot of people into this industry, and then they listen to what I say online and they attempt to start a freight dispatch business with no real experience, right? And that really won't work because the owner operators businesses needs emergency heart heart surgery, right? Open heart surgery, right? Because they're going through so many pain points and constraints in their business that's causing constraints where they don't have flow. It's no different than doing surgery on someone, right? This is what I used to do in the army as a combat medic, right? Like, think about me, like, trying to help save someone's life, and I never done it before, right? So basically, as a doctor, you become a resident doctor first. You have another doctor with years of experience right by your side, and you're able to watch them, or they're able to tell you, exactly what to do in real time, because we're dealing with. So basically, what you're going to be dealing with as a freight dispatcher, you're going to be dealing with a lot of owner operators, trucking businesses that's failing, just like somebody coming into the ED where I worked in ED departments. I've worked in emergency departments in hospitals, right, where people are coming in after car accidents, GSWs, gunshot wounds, bleeding out. I've done all that, right? So I think that's what makes me so confident in doing what I'm doing, because that was a lot harder. That was 100 times harder. Let me tell you about the first time in the army as a combat medic when I had to deal with, like, saving somebody's life, you know? So that prepared me for where I am now. This is too easy. And yeah, go ahead, Kizzy.
No, I was just gonna say thanks for always sharing your expertise, even in the medical field, and how it even translate over into the trucking industry, because it's really the same thing. You're saving the life or the business through the cash flow, removing those constraints and allowing the blood to flow into that business. And that's what an experienced dispatcher would do. And then, like you said, the residents, the doctors, before they're ever actually on their own, they have a skilled, experienced doctor training them as a resident along the way before they're able to actually jump off the porch and start doing those things on their own. So it's you're now the experienced teacher training dispatchers to come along and follow the actual steps before going out on their own, and you're teaching them the right way and the right steps to do in order to be successful dispatching companies, not just a dispatcher.
Right. Yep, definitely. So, like Kizzy said, it's the same. We got to realize about a human body. When a person's in an emergency medical situation, it's a constraint. It could be in the airway, it could be in the blood system that's causing them to lose their life, right? And me, as a combat medic in the Army, I had to be able to identify the constraint and immediately start implementing solutions to save that person's life. So you, as a freight dispatcher, owner operators are having constraints in their cash flow. The cash is not flowing correctly in their business, and you have to immediately be able to identify that and alleviate the constraint to save their business. It is that deep. It's exactly that deep. And I already know 99% of people coming in this industry are not thinking that deep, but that's what you're dealing with. And since people thinking they're going to come into this industry and practice with no experience whatsoever, with just getting information online and be able to save a trucking business, and these days with inflation being so high, inflation is crazy, right? Fuel prices are crazy. Owner operators are feeling that. And basically, you cannot come in with no experience and then think you're going to save owner operators trucking business. That's like an emergency room doctor coming out of school and then they just going straight into the emergency department without an experienced doctor, without another experienced doctor working with them. And like, here, hey, you just thrown into the emergency department on your own, and all day and all night long these people are coming in and you're just going to save their life. No, you're going to be a resident doctor first, right? You're going to be a resident doctor and have a doctor working with you that had years and years of experience, that's able to tell you, that's able to stand back. And when something comes up, they go tell you, immediately what to do, like no time to waste. Go ahead, Kizzy.
You're absolutely correct, Antoine. And as you know, I'm in the medical field too and have been for years. And that is exactly how it's done. You know, they have the resident doctors follow alongside a seasoned doctor. Okay. And that's what you're offering in this trucking industry is for the dispatchers that want to get seasoned and actually know the right steps to get that cash flow into their businesses and how to save the companies that they're dealing with. They need to be in this revenue launch system like
Yeah,
today.
yeah. So basically, how it works is, is more money in to be made in freight dispatching more than ever for the people with the right mindset. Most people are going to come in without the right mindset that think they're just going to be able to become successful and give value to owner operators without having someone that's been through years and years of experience by their side. That's how most people are going to come in, and they're not going to make any revenue. Flat out, they're not going to make any revenue. But how business works, it's just a small percentage of people that's attracting all the wealth, right? So you just want to be part of that small percentage. You don't want to be like everybody else. You don't want to blend in with the market. You want to be part of that small, very small percentage. It's in anything we do, it's a small percentage of people that's actually generating revenue. So you just want to make sure you're within that small percentage, and you got to think deeper, a lot deeper than the rest of the people. So So this created widespread distrust in the trucking industry because so many people flooded the industry. This is all industries. So much, once the in, the invention of social media, and once so many people got on video, that caused every industry, just like freight dispatching, it caused a flood of people wanting to start those businesses. And then by inexperienced people coming in with no experience whatsoever, and then attempting to dispatch a owner operator. And I know most people are just going to think dispatch, but really what you're doing, you need to be able to increase. You already need to know proven methods to increase revenue within the owner operator's trucking business, right? But so many people came into this industry and they're basically attempting to practice on owner operators trucking businesses. It created widespread distrust within the industry, right? So this is something most aspiring freight dispatchers don't think about. Owner operators are very selective. They do not trust freight dispatchers. So they need to feel like they're getting involved with a freight dispatcher with years and years of experience. They need to feel like the freight dispatcher knows more than they do about the business side of the business. So I believe I went over this already. A dispatcher's decisions affect all these things within the trucking business. So the owner operator is not giving someone a practice assignment. Most freight dispatchers, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying or attempting to practice on an owner operator's trucking business that they probably got loans to pay for their truck, their trailer. They're paying high prices for insurance. They've purchased securement equipment. So they spent a lot of money. So after years of freight dispatchers flooding the industry and attempting to practice, they're basically, if you come in brand new, haven't done it before, and even if you watch free videos, even if you take paid training, you're attempting to practice, right? Because you don't have an operating system, right? Owner operators, that's really what they want. They might not know this, but they want an operating system. They want to deal with a dispatcher that's already operating, not someone trying to perform trial and error. Trial and error won't even work anymore these days, right? So they want someone already operating. But of course, most freight dispatchers coming in, they're going to pretend like they're already operating, or even if you say you're new. They don't want that. They're looking for someone to immediately help them generate an increasing amount of revenue. So they are giving that person access to revenue, to the revenue producing side of their business. So and I've seen this, me being in the industry. So basically with the revenue launch AI business operating system, I've seen all the pain points that freight dispatchers are having. I've seen the pain points that owner operators are having. And what I had to create is the solution for all the pain points. See, that's what your freight dispatch business is supposed to be, not just knowledge of how to book a load. You create the freight dispatch business because your freight dispatch business is a proven implementation program to help scale owner operators trucking businesses, right? Just like the revenue launch system is a proven implementation program to immediately, without a doubt, it's not like maybe this might work, or it's not like I'm trying to figure this out, or I'm practicing, or I'm doing trial and error. No, do exactly this, do what I tell you to do, and your business will improve. So that's how your freight dispatch business needs to be from day one.
And I just would like to say this, Antoine, people need to understand and be reminded by you that you had a trucking company yourself. So they have the confidence that you know exactly the steps in the blueprint. And I'm first to say, I know that your blueprint works because I've been with you now for some years and I have been successful with helping my owner operators to scale their businesses, to grow their cash flow, increase their revenue, and decrease their deadhead miles. I work with my owner operators on a weekly basis to make sure we're always strategizing a profit plan for their business and how for them to be more business minded, professional, and just developing them on every aspect of how to take their business to the next level. And that I owe a lot of that knowledge and information from you.
Yeah, appreciate that, Kizzy. Appreciate that, Kizzy. So even Kizzy came into this industry. She came in brand new. She had even took a course before, right? She came in and had took a course, but I linked Kizzy up with a dispatcher who already had experience, right? So basically, an owner operator, you need to have experienced personnel. That's where the industry is moving into. We're already here, and this is why most people don't have drivers or don't have revenue coming into their business, because they don't know the future is already here. You need to have experience. You need to have not just training, just not mentorship. You need to have experienced people working for you from day one, because that's what owner operators are looking for. So So the revenue launch system solution, inside the revenue, the RLS, the founder starts with experienced dispatchers, operational support, leadership oversight, established communication procedures, performance tracking, and a structured dispatch operation. So basically, I know owner operators want all this. This is what they are looking for. They're not looking for someone just starting. You know, and being honest, what I'm saying is like back in the day, you could finagle that, and that's the way it works. As time moves on, what used to work back in the day doesn't work anymore. So today, because of inflation, your like potential owner operators, their buying habits has changed, right? They're not going to be as quick to sign up with you anymore, because just like I've read, and just like I know, your customer, everybody gets intelligence. We got to think intelligence. Just think about intelligence. Intelligence is something coming into our minds from a higher power, right? So what I'm saying is that intelligence expands. People just don't go for what you say, right? Just like back in the day, somebody selling freight dispatch trainer, somebody might would have said, "Oh, you can make $100,000 in freight dispatching. Pay me $1,000 and you can make $1,000 a year. You can work from home. You can make $100,000. Somebody, oh, boom, let me give you $1,000. I'm ready to go. That's not going to work anymore. You got to go deeper into detail. The same with your customers. Just by you saying you're a dispatcher, you can book the highest paying loads. Owner operator is not going to be quick just to sign up with you because intelligence for everyone, for me, Kizzie, for you, intelligence is always expanding. So they're not going to be as quick to sign up with you just because you say, I can book your loads, or just because you learn how to use a load board. So that being said, key message. You do not ask an owner operator to allow you to practice on their truck, right? Inflation is too extremely high. Everything is too high in this country right now. And by you saying, basically thinking owner operators are going to let you practice on their truck, most of the market, I agree. Most people coming in, they think that will work. But we got to remember that's how business works. A lot of people come into a business, but the people who actually end up generating revenue is very small compared to the people that come in. So most people they're not thinking about it that way. I say most aspiring freight dispatchers, they're not thinking in their minds like, I'm practicing on an owner operator's truck, but that's really what they're attempting to do. They're attempting to get some quick information and practice on an owner operator's trucks. But like I said, because of inflation, high fuel prices, that's not going to happen anymore. So you enter the market as the founder of a logistics company supported by experienced professionals. So basically, everything that I offer for a reason, because I know owner operators are not going to just sign up with anybody. You have to have an experienced team already working for you. So once they sign up with you, they get access to that experienced team. So let's keep it moving right along. Reason two, most aspiring freight dispatchers do not have a real business operating system. So the problem is many aspiring dispatchers have business materials, LLC, EIN number, load board access, but they do not have a functioning business. Think about it. When owner operators sign up with a freight dispatcher, they're really looking for a functioning business, right? So you may have pretty much just named it all. And most people think if they have this does not matter. What I have highlighted, if anybody can get this right, anybody can get these things. So this is what majority of the people come in the industry thinking about. But you got to remember, to actually generate money, you can't just think what majority or what everybody thinks about. You got to think about all these things and then go a lot deeper too. But those items do not create a successful business operating system. So what they really want, owner operators want you to already have an operating system. They want you to be doing it already. And just because you have this, anybody can get these things without actually doing it already. Questions their business cannot answer. So you need to ask, this says who, or you can ask, how do I consistently generate leads? So most people, like I said, I've been doing this 10 years, and I agree, most people I talk to think this is what matters. Still to this day, in real time, people I get on a phone call with today, people I just got on a phone call with 2 hours ago, think this is what matters until I break it all down to them. And then I'm saying this too, so I will stop getting on a phone call and stop hearing about these things that don't generate revenue. Because I'm here to help people make money, and it's wasting my time. Like I told somebody else earlier today, it wastes my time and it wastes your time if this is all you think that matters, right? So let's just get over that. I'll be straight to the point. I don't care how you think. I'm just going to tell you straight up, this isn't enough, because I'm a business person. I'm here to help my potential customers generate revenue. And we're thinking 10 years ago if we think this is what's going to help. Got anything, Kizzy?
All I was gonna say is in 2026, it's time to stop playing and standing on business. Anybody who's ready to really do business needs to be taking a business course, or in any industry that they're in, they need to learn the business side of it before moving forward with trying to gather all of this useless information that's not going to even matter if they don't have the business functionality.
Correct, correct. So questions their business cannot answer. So most people coming in, really you want to know how can I generate leads, right? You want to know how can I get people interested? Who responds to inquiries? Like I said, I know this says who, but it's kind of like how. How do I conduct sales calls? See, this is the stuff. This is too easy. Anybody can do this. This is what most people do and still never make money. But you want to ask, how do I conduct sales calls? How do I follow up with prospects? How do you collect carrier documents? How do you prepare truck operations? How do you dispatch trucks? How do you monitor performance? How do you support dispatchers? What to do when a problem occurs. See, you're going to really need to know all this from day one. What I'm saying, you need to know all this from day one of your business, right? You don't got time to try to figure it out, and you're actually dealing with a trucking company. You got to realize they probably apply for a loan to get this started, and they have debt. Said I've been doing this for a while. I know most people coming in aren't going to think about that the owner operator has debt that they are in real time attempting to cover that debt, and they need to increase their revenue to cover that debt and still make money. So when these answers are unclear, the owner operator feels a lack of structure, and they can hear it when you speak to them. They can hear it and see it in your marketing on your social media sites. And then if you happen to get on a phone call with them, they can identify that. So the revenue launch system solution. The RLS organizes the business into four departments: marketing, generates awareness, demand and qualify owner operators, sales, you conduct discovery calls, identify performance gaps. So you want to be able to listen. To really start a successful freight dispatch business, you need to be able to listen to an owner operator on a phone call. Then I'll go back. See, what most people are going to have an issue with, like I said, top of the pipeline. See, most people are just thinking about an LLC, EIN number, load board access, but does a owner op? Most people aren't even going to get a driver on a phone call with them, right? They're just going to pass by you, pass by whatever you put online, pass by your flyer and not even care. They're not even going to want to get on a phone call with you. So I'll say by the last 10 years that I've been helping people launch freight dispatch businesses, people will come in and think about an LLC and an EIN number and a dispatch agreement, but they won't think about just, well, how do I get an owner operator on a phone call with me, right? It's a manifestation. You got to get them on a phone call with you. And then once you get them on a phone call with you, you got to get them to listen to you and say, oh, yes, I want to sign up with you, right? And then from there, you have to get them results. I'll be honest, most people won't ever get on a phone call with the owner operator. And it's because they're not even thinking about how do I get on the phone call with my potential customer? That's what we need to be asking ourselves from the beginning.
And that's why I'm glad that I joined the revenue launch system when I did. Even though it was called the boot camp when I first got with you, I knew you had all the steps and the information to get me to the next level. I already knew that I had the LLC. I already had it made up in my mind that I was not going to take no for an answer, that I was not going to have any excuses. When I came to your program, I knew that I was already willing to do whatever I needed to do to get my business off the ground.
Mhm. I just put this question up on the screen. How do you get the experience when no one wants to hire new dispatchers? So basically, it's only one way. You have to get with people who already have the experience. And basically, you have to get in a group with those people where you're hearing the experience every day. So that gets in your consciousness. And then you have their stories, you have what they say. And then basically, if you just are in alignment with people that's already doing it, then you basically have that experience and you know what to say. Really, it won't be any other way. So that's the reason why I kind of got off just training or just got off mentorship, and now I have an operating system. So basically, you have to join an operating system that's already operating, because that's what owner operators want, right?
And I also wanted to add to that question for that person. um, when you connect with the revenue launch system, you're coming into a community. So it's not just Antoine's knowledge, but also the knowledge of all the others that are within the community that have drivers and who have done the work. Because experience is going to start with you. The experience is going to start with how much information are you willing to take in to your mind and put back out for your owner operators to be even attracted to your knowledge and your information. So it all starts with you, and actually building the groundwork and foundation for your trucking business, your dispatch business, that will attract said owner operators to you. And that becomes the foundation of your experience, because you will start eventually attracting them to you based on your knowledge. And you learn a lot of that knowledge within this community.
Yeah. Yeah. So like how like so many people think it's about learning or researching or taking all this time to learn before you start, but it's simply not that way. How I explain it to people, I made on one of my previous lives, I spoke about like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's. They have an operating system. McDonald's, when people join and sign up with McDonald's, it's already an operating system. People don't sign up with McDonald's. They don't make an investment into McDonald's and then take 6 months of learning and taking notes and researching before they start operating. It's not like that. McDonald's is already operating. As soon as they plug in with McDonald's, they're operating. And that's the way programs like freight dispatching, that's where we're at right now. We're at that point right now, but most people are still thinking learning, training, taking notes, looking at different programs, and those are the people that's not generating any revenue. So basically, it's turned out to an investment. You make an investment, as soon as you make that investment, you're going. Like I say, Kizzie, she's signing up new drivers every day. She signed up, well, every week. She signed up drivers this week. Today, she's signing up drivers. She's onboarding drivers. 2 days ago, me and Kizzie got on a phone call with a driver that she signed up. We got on a phone call together. Yeah. And really, that's the only way, because so much information is out. It's not about the information. People think they need to learn, take information. It's just about plugging into an operating system. So what it is, inflation. Look at the economy. The economy. We all know this, right? Think about the economy. One thing people don't think about is how the economy affects your customers, right? I have to think about that, right? My customers that come to me to launch a freight dispatch business, they don't have time to watch a 10 hours worth of freight dispatch training and learn how and learn and take notes and then try to go out and do it on their own. No, it's just like I have to tell them every step of the way. As long as you listen to me, do this, this, and this, and you're going to see your business moving forward. And it's the same for your owner operators, and your business has to be like that from day one. Because see, if you're still learning and practicing day one, eh, how can you get somebody like the person said? Um, Let me go back up. Let me just put it on. How how can you get the experience if your owner operators want you to be already operating from day one? You'll never get it. That's the reason you just got to plug into an operating system from day one. And that's how you can get customers reaching out to you from day one and start launching from day one.
Right, because within the revenue launch system, the Antoine already has experienced trained dispatchers awaiting the community or the CEOs who are in need of a dispatcher. Also, within the community is the other support, the other CEOs, LBOs, this is what Antoine calls us, inside the launch system. And so, therefore, you get my knowledge, you get their knowledge, you get his knowledge, and we're all sharpening each other. So, therefore, you avoid a lot of mistakes that you would have made had you taken this journey on your own. This is a in real time type of implementation. Just like when that owner operator does finally reach out to you and wants you to work with them, that's something that you'll be connecting with that owner operator, and he is wanting and expecting you to work on his business in real time, not take notes and, oh, let me get back to you 10 days later. So I want everyone to understand that once you sign up for the revenue launch system, understand that it is the groundwork that you're going to be making for your business, but you're connected to a community and support system that's here to uplift you as long as you're willing to do the work.
Right. So yeah, like Kizzy, like she's been working on onboarding drivers today. She has one fleet owner and he accepts people to lease on to his company. And then Kizzy even attracts people, mainly sometimes they have a new authority. And as we know, a lot of brokers don't accept new authorities to lease to move loads with them, right? So Kizzy attracts people with new authorities to lease on to her fleet owner. So basically, what I'm saying is, as soon as you sign up with this, it's an operating system. We got people already operating, like Kizzy, and she's not the only one like Kizzy and other members, they're already operating, right? And I see what Simone is saying. I want to join a community. When I tried a few years back, I ran into a lot of scammers. So what I'm saying is like it's about an operating system, right? So you want people already scaling. You don't want to do training or mentorship. You want to join people already helping owner operators get a second, third truck, things like that. So it's actually already operating. And that's why systems like this had to be invented because, yeah, you could run into scammers, people not actually already making it happen. But what I'm saying is like, when you have an operating system, it's already people like Kizzy and the other members already operating. And then from day one, not even day one, the first hour of your business, you already have that. And that's how I'm helping people scale and launch their business faster than ever because it's an operating system, not just training or just not just learning. Because it's 2026. Training and learning is outdated. These days, yeah,
And
go ahead.
as soon as you said the word outdated, and I also wanted to just throw this caveat in there. What's also outdated is dispatchers working alone, trying to do everything on their own, thinking that they're first and foremost, especially if you're inexperienced with dispatching, but secondly, if you're not connected to a network, this whole industry is based on relationships and the networks that you have with people. So if you're unwilling to work with a team, a group who are like-minded individuals, you are definitely going to be swimming in an ocean of sharks all by yourself. So why not join a community of like-minded individuals who's going in the same direction you're going, where you can get all the information, knowledge, and support that you're going to need in this industry as a CEO in the trucking industry.
Yep, and that's how it is. See, most people are still thinking like free information or paid training or paid courses, but I tell you the future, right? Basically the future, like people like me are going to have their own operating system where they have successful members, not just training, just not mentorship, but you have your successful members. And that's exactly what your freight dispatch business needs to have, right? You already have successful owner operators in your operating system. Your freight dispatch business basically has to be an operating system for from day one, or it will not work. Like, I'd rather just be upfront and frank. It doesn't work anymore, right? Unless you already have motion or momentum. Like, and I don't know what's wrong with the world where what I'm saying, like, I don't hear people talking about motion as much as they should. You want motion, right? Not just training and learning. You want motion in your business from day one, right?
And the reason why you don't hear it a lot being talked about the motion or the momentum is because a lot of people are not actually having any momentum or motion within their business right now,
Right.
especially if they have failed to network and build a structure of network with others in the trucking industry, and they don't have the experience that they need to actually create the motion within their business. So
Right.
it's very important to collaborate with people that are like minded, who can sharpen you and prevent you from making a bunch of mistakes along the way.
Yeah, that is true. Like, you got to have motion. It's like you don't want just training or mentorship, or you just don't want to learn. You want motion. That's what everybody want at the end of the day. Like motion, things going forward, right? And just like I told somebody else earlier, I know it's because of the economy. To me, people are stagnant. Even the way people speak is really stagnant to me. Like I was telling somebody earlier, it's the way you think and the words you say that's actually push the world forward. That actually attracts motion to you, right? So basically, what it is these days, owner operators want you to already have motion in your business. And when you plug, what Kizzy is saying, when you plug into an operating system or the revenue launch operating system, that gives you motion from day one. Basically, it's real simple. The reason dispatchers can't sign up drivers is they don't have motion already, right? And then when you plug into an operating system, a OS, that's motion, that's momentum. It's all the same thing. Operating system, motion, momentum, demand. To me, it's like all the same word, means the same thing. But see, what happens is freight dispatchers are attempting to dispatch drivers and they don't have motion already. Really, I guess kind of like the training and mentorship industry kind of changed into what jobs are, because you know how jobs are right now. They want you to have experience already. So it really, I admit, it creates a very big constraints, because if you try to find a job, they want you to have the experience already. Then you try to form a business, your potential customers want you to have experience already. So really, like, nobody, a job, or if you try to start a business, customers don't have time for you to wait around and try to figure things out by trial and error. It's 2026. That's outdated. Trial and error and having no motion from the beginning is outdated. So that's why I just don't have training and mentorship anymore. That's why I have an operating system, because I know the people coming to me, they don't just need me giving them a pre-recorded training video. They need motion. They need motion from day one. See, I got to give you motion from day one and plug you in to me and plug you into Kizzy and the other successful members. Why? Because your potential customers, your potential drivers need motion from day one, you
And
know?
all I want to say is come in with that same energy, the energy of motion. A lot of people um, are so used to the old trainings and just coming in somewhere and taking notes and not actually being engaging or being active within their own business. So this is not the business to where someone um, basically does it for you. Come in prepared to do the groundwork yourself, but with the instruction and guidance of me and Antoine.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Kizzy, she's very well rounded and she's going to be helping you out along with me and the other successful members from day one. And I say that because Like I said, this is what you have to have. There is no other way. There is no other way, mainly because you got to think about inflation. I keep mentioning inflation. See, because I just don't believe most freight dispatchers think about the high amount. They think about it for themselves, right? But they don't think about it for their potential drivers, that everybody has inflation, and that they want to plug into some momentum, some motion as soon as they sign up with you. So, yeah, it's about an operating system. So me and Kizzy, I just realized we still just get into number three, the number three reason why most freight dispatchers can't sign up drivers, but sometimes we're long-winded. We're like over an hour already, but we want people to be successful, and this is what we're doing every day. We're actually helping owner operators scale every day. We talked to Kizzy signed up an owner operator just yesterday. Me and her were both on the phone with him, and that's what he was speaking about his last dispatcher. At the end of the day, his last dispatcher seemed like he didn't have any experience, right? And that's what's stopping owner operators from signing up with freight dispatchers, because they look at information online for free, or they take a course and they don't have any actual motion or momentum, or they don't have any actual like stories from people that's already doing it, or any broker contacts. Like I said, when you join the revenue launch system, you get access to the broker contacts that we already made. So you actually have momentum or motion. So we're actually hearing this from owner operators every day that sign up with us. So that's the reason we're so passionate about it. And we'll just tell you what it is directly. No time to beat around the bush, because owner operators are depending on us, and we see the problems and constraints this is creating in the market. We see this every single day because we're actually talking to owner operators every single day. Sometimes both of us are on conference calls with owner operators together. Like, this is what we do. We just not go train you, just not mentorship. This is what we're going through every single day. You know. So, reason three, their offer sounds like every other dispatcher. See, most dispatch companies use identical claims. Basically, what it is, most freight dispatch companies are attempting to start their business with the same exact operating system. See, the operating system that no longer works, that most people just automatically start with. And like I said, hey, I was a new business owner 10 years ago. I was a new business owner, so I'm not saying I always had all the answers. I don't have all the answers right now, but as I keep going forward, the answers just come to me. But I already know most people that come into the industry, they're not thinking, I'm attempting to start my business with the same exact operating system that everybody else has. So the operating system that most freight dispatchers are attempting to start their business with is, oh, I'm going to watch free videos online and I'm going to get started with that. They don't think about, this is the same exact information thousands of people are trying to start their business with. They don't think about this exact information is the same information that people are using but still not generating any revenue. Or they don't think about, oh, this video is 6 months old or a year old, or 4 or 5 years old, right? So really what you need to get started with is the exact information me and Kizzy just received 2 hours ago. You need what me and Kizzy was just talking about 2 hours ago, and you need that implemented in your business time now. Yeah.
And all I wanted to say is, a lot of people, what they did was took the course from someone, whether it been you or another trainer, and never dispatched a day in their life. And they just took that same information and resold it, repackaged it the same exact way. So that's why the dispatching industry is so watered down, because those same people who might have learned from, took a dispatching course and repackaged it the same exact way and sold it to more people who wanted information. But now that's why dispatching is so watered down. And has become where a pain point for serious owner operators who need experienced dispatchers to actually help them take their trucking business to the next level. And you're teaching that inside the revenue launch, but you're not packaging it where it's step by step. You're working with people in real time where they are so that you can help them grow so that they can't then steal your information and then try and go right back out here without experience and try to sell that information to other people. You have to actually know what you're doing, and I appreciate you for sharing your wisdom so much so within the revenue launch system to help people such as myself who had to learn quickly how to move in this trucking industry.
Right. So yeah, basically these days you really have to just get with somebody that has years and years of experience, and then you implement that into your business from day one. And really, that's the only way. Especially like I said, with inflation and fuel prices being so high, owner operators want to get that vibe from you. Like, they're not thinking about. Oh, I wonder, does this dispatcher really have an operating system? I say owner operators not thinking that, but that's the vibe they want. Those are the vibrations they want. And when you're able to give them that energy, they're like, "Oh yeah, let me sign up with you. You seem like you know what you're talking about. You seem like you got some experience, right?" So really what you want to do is give out the energy that you have a operating system, right? Because now when you plug in with the revenue launch system, you got Kizzy. You can hit Kizzy up, through the app. You can hit me up through the app, and you really got an operating system. I don't care if you don't have no experience. You plug in with me, you got experience, right? Because you
Well,
got
and
me.
when they come into the system, they instantly have a team, a support team. I mean, of course, quite naturally, even within your system, and I know everybody probably is not aware of this, but you have assistants, that VA assistants that can help them even get their website built or edit their content videos and different things of that nature to help move along the process much faster for them to reach their growth potential within and build their foundation within a shorter period of time than you would just gathering information.
Right. Yeah. So I would get back to the outline here. So most freight dispatchers, see, they have the same offer. So if you start off like this is what most people are going to start off with. Like, we find the highest paying lows, we negotiate the best rates. This is what most people are going to put on their flyers on social media. We provide 24/7 support. We keep your truck moving. And I just say flat out, who cares about this? Like, nobody cares about this, right? So owner operators have heard these promises repeatedly. See, most people coming into the freight dispatch industry, they're brand new coming in. So they're going to automatically think these things matter. But for me, somebody that's been in 10 years, and for owner operators, I'm so used to hearing this. See, most new people are just going to hear other people or see other people saying these things and then say the same things, right? And then for me or owner operators, I'm going to instantly be able to realize that you're new or you don't have any motion, you don't have any momentum. Because if you really had an operating system, you're not going to be saying this, right? That's like me right now saying, "Oh, you can make $100,000 per year, or I can teach you how to use load boards." No, I got an operating system. So, I mean, I could say, yeah, I can teach you how to make $100,000 per year, or yes, I can teach you how to use the load boards. And I'll say, I'm not even going to be teaching you how to use the load boards, right? Because I'm not going to spend my time. I'll be straight up. I'm not about to spend my time teaching anybody how to use the load boards. I have one of the members of my support team that's on the load board every day because me, myself, I am not on the load. I don't know when the last time I've been on a load board, honestly, because I got people within my company that's on the load board every single day, and they will be teaching you or showing you how to use the load board, right? So I'm not going to be saying like, "Oh, I can teach you." That's why you never hear me say that. Like, "Oh, I can teach you how to use the load board, or I can teach you this, or I can teach you that." No, I'm way past that because I got an operating system, right? But what I am probably going to be saying, I'm going to be teaching you how to create more consistent revenue within an owner operator's trucking business.
And I just wanted to say this, Antoine, you add so much more value to anyone who comes into the revenue launch system because everyone leaves with the knowledge and the information that you have given them that they didn't have before they came into the revenue launch system so that they can launch their business.
Right. Yeah, like it says, so you want to launch. You don't want to just learn or train or get mentorship. You want to launch your business. See, because of social media, people forgot the whole point of business. The whole point of business is to generate revenue as quickly as possible. How I learned business is like war. And I came from the military, right? I was in the Navy and the Army, so it make perfect sense to me. Like, soon as you start your business, you're in war. You're on the battlefield. You're taking incoming fire. And how I see that, how I first learned business coming in, it's like you're taking incoming fire. That means the economy. That means inflation, that means bills, right? That means all those things. So you are on the battlefield and you're taking fire. So you got to start putting some fire down range immediately. Not just learn and take notes. No, you got to start putting some fire on the market, right? Because the whole point of starting a business, people have pain points and they're having all those bills and everything and expenses, and you want to start generating more revenue as quickly as possible.
And what I wanted to also say is anyone coming into the revenue launch system need to also understand that you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your knowledge, you're investing in your experience before you go out and actually start speaking with owner operators and getting them aligned with your services. So I always look at the fact that once you start that business, you are now accruing business expenses. So it's a business expense to invest into yourself, invest into your knowledge if you're passionate about this industry and this business, because that's those owner operators who you're going to be dispatching for or who's going to be aligned to your business, they're invested in their business. So it's an investment of all the way around. You need to be willing to invest in yourself and in your business, just like that owner operator invested in their business, in that truck. And they're still paying on that investment, and you'll be still paying on your investment as well, because you're going to continually need knowledge and information and insight from the experienced people that you're going to be connected to in your network. You're going to continually need that information for years to come, because the trucking industry, it does change. So you want to be ahead. Just think about how it went from the FMCSA to modus. That's because the change is taking place on all levels. Change is taking place on all levels. Everything that's outdated is now getting pushed out and being upgraded with the new technology.
Mhm. And that's what's good about having a team. Because I'll be honest, like I said, I keep it 100. Hey, when it comes to modus or something, if you really want me to, I'm not the person to come to it to explain modus to you, right? Kizzie's dispatcher. Or even Kizzie can explain that better than I can. What's going on, honestly. So I'm just saying that, hey, just a big shout out to the support system I have around me, right? Because so many changes, I'm so focused on trying to get people an increasing amount of demand, right? The trucking industry is always going to be changing, and that's how I can put out the stuff that I do, because I'm not concentrating on the little fine details, right? Only thing it takes is a quick call to Kizzie or her dispatcher, and they can fill me in like that, right? There's probably some people that's watching this video to know more about Modus than me. But like I said, I'm just being honest. As Kizzie mentioned it, just really giving praise to Kizzie because she's dealing with that every day with her owner operators, right? And so when you come in, you get more than just my knowledge. You get Kizzie's and everybody else's knowledge, right? Yep, yep, yep. So it helps me a lot having a team around me. You cannot do it. See, people think they're just going to come in as an independent freight dispatcher. See, this is a decentralized economy. Everything is getting decentralized where you have to have a team. Let me name something else too. So basically, if you think you're going to come into dispatching and do it all by yourself, that means you don't have enough demand. That how you can create a stable business that actually survives this economy is you have to have a great idea that attracts enough demand to you from day one to where you have to hire people to help you. Basically, if you think you're going to do it all by yourself, that just means your business idea isn't good enough. It won't even work, right? So you probably can watch my videos from a few years ago. Yeah, I was the only one doing it. It was just me. But see, I got to have something way more higher value to where I have to have like people like Kizzie around, people like the full support team that works for me. Hey, shout out to my full support team. You know, even though you don't see them on video, it's a lot of people doing things behind the scenes that work for me, right? So I always want to shout them out. Hey, I bet they're watching this video right now because a lot of my support team watches my video and they might be on this live right now. So I appreciate you. And then as soon as I get off the live, they're hitting me up in Slack. Hey, awesome video, Antoine. You made some good points. They're giving me feedback. My team gives me feedback as soon as I get off the live. So that's the type of people you need working for you. For real. So yeah, so remember that you need see most people are trying to get into business with the idea that's already in the market and that doesn't attract enough demand. It doesn't get enough interest to their business, so they never get an owner operator to sign up with them. But really you need something so powerful from day one that gets so many owner operators reaching out to you that you have to have a team. You can't do it all by yourself. So any business that you get into, you need before you start, you need to analyze the market, look at what everybody else is doing, and think about like, how could I come up with something so good that I couldn't even handle it all by myself? But see, if you think that way, that's going to affect the money and the stability coming into your business. Now, that's what I call real business. But I already know most people coming into freight dispatching, they're not thinking like that. That's why they don't sign up any drivers. You know. Yeah. So, share this outline again. So, these are the things most freight dispatchers are saying, and this is what owner operators actually care about. Is weekly revenue becoming more consistent, right? Most freight dispatchers, I would say, don't think about that. So, what you want coming into this industry, you're starting a business because you want your money, right? If you're trying to start a business, most likely your money coming into your life isn't consistent enough. And you want more consistency in the revenue coming into your life. That's the same thing with your owner operators. Owner operators want to know is deadhead being reduced? Deadhead is the amount of empty miles they travel. They want that being reduced because deadhead causes them to spend more on fuel. You know, we got that that's something else. Most freight dispatchers right now are not going to think about the Iran war. The Iran war and the Strait of Hormuz being closed, that's causing fuel prices to go up. You know, even us, you know, for a regular person without a business spending more money on fuel. It's the exact same for your owner operators, and that's their business. You know, it has to do with fuel. So, deadhead miles, the amount of miles they travel without a load being on their trailer, that's empty miles, right? So, they don't want to travel even before this war. You know, nobody wanted to, no owner operator wants to travel a long way without a load because they're just spending money on fuel without a load. But think about it now. We're at war with Iran and fuel prices are extremely high right now. That's something you got to think about coming in. But see, when you join the revenue launch system, we're already thinking about that. You know, we're going to put that on your mind. So basically, we're going to put everything that's not on the average freight dispatcher's mind, we're going to put it on your mind from day one and give you the solutions for that from day one. All right. So that makes owner operators a lot more selective to high fuel prices. You know, our truck trucks lanes profitable? Is the dispatcher communicating? Is the truck spending too much time sitting? Like I said, inflation. The two main things affecting the trucking industry right now is inflation, because, of course, all the truck repairs, the maintenance, everything's increasing, just like everything's increasing for someone without a business, especially someone with the business, everything's increasing. So high inflation and high fuel prices are really affecting the trucking industry right now. Are rates strong after expenses? Is someone reviewing the business performance? You have to review the business performance. Is there a strategy beyond low booking? So we need a strategy. So the revenue launch system. The revenue launch system positions the company as a logistics consulting and operational support firm. Maybe I would market my business like that instead of just a freight dispatch business. I would say, hey, I'm a logistics consulting and operational support firm. The focus becomes increasing weekly revenue, decreasing deadhead mile, improving rate per mile, increasing load consistency, identifying stronger lanes, evaluating weak markets. You see the rest. Better sales questions. Instead of immediately promising higher paying loads, ask, what did your truck gross last week? How many miles did you run? How many total miles did you run? How many miles were deadhead? What was the average rate per mile? So you want to do a diagnosis. You want to see where the trucking business is at right now. And see, when you do a diagnosis, when you're asking questions about their trucking business, seeing like what happened last week, how much revenue did you make last week? How many deadhead miles? See, if you get on a phone call with a driver and you're asking these questions, how many empty miles did you run last week? Were you stuck anywhere last week? How did the last 30 days of your revenue look? See, an average dispatcher aren't going to ask that. But see, in the revenue launch system, I teach you to ask that from day one. So really what it is, if you don't get anything from this live, get that your logistics consulting firm needs to be at this level from day one. Because if it's not at this level from day one, owner operators aren't going to be attracted to your business. So I know I have a question. How can I find out how much your course is to take? And then I say it's an operating system, more than a course, it's an operating system, right? Because when you join it, you're not going to come in, just to let everyone know, you're not going to come in watching, 5, 10 hours of training videos. You're going to come in operating. We're hot, live ammunition. Like I said, I'm a military guy. Navy, Army, you're going to come in live ammunition, guns ablaze. You're going to come in taking fire from day one. You're going to be on the battlefield from day one, not just sitting back, learning, taking it easy. Oh, I'm taking, you don't even need to take any notes in this thing, because I'm going to just tell you what to do at all times, right? Like I said, in the Army, when I was a combat medic, I was a sergeant, right? So just take me as the sergeant calling in all the shots, seeing everything
Sergeant
in the
West.
future. Right, right.
Sergeant West.
Yep. Yep. It's like you coming into boot camp. That's why I used to call it a boot camp. You coming in, and I'm just going to call out everything you need to do. If I see something that you're doing that's misaligning, or something that's going to turn out into something like, if you're misaligning the business and it's going to make your business turn out into a way that you don't want in the future, just like in the Army, I'm going to identify that before it manifests, before it goes on too long. I'm going to call it out. Boom. Hey, do this. Left flank, right flank, immediately. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get it.
And I just want to say that I appreciate you, Antoine, for standing on business like that and actually being like Sergeant West. And no, you don't be hollering and really doing it like we see on the movies, like Major Pain. But I do appreciate um, your discipline, your structure, your guidance, as the overseeing officer, as the sergeant who knows best of what's ahead, and for guiding me and others to, um, I don't know what you would call it, but the safe zone in
Mhm.
our business, um, by basically giving those commands and staying on top of me, so that I couldn't take the easy road out, so that I couldn't get comfortable and just relax, but so that I could actually get my boots strapped up, boots on the ground, and standing on business. So I thank you so much for being so structured, so disciplined, so professional at all times, even against adversity. You have always remained professional.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because you could have some adversity in your business, and Kizzy kind of touched on it. See, it's like something we talk about is the critical threshold. You got to know, like your owner operators, trucking businesses, like they have personal expenses and they have business expenses, right? And most likely they're not hitting the critical threshold. The critical threshold is the amount that the revenue that they're bringing into their trucking business, it has to get up to the point where the amount of revenue is equal to the amount of expenses they have in their personal life and the expenses they have in their trucking business, right? So that's the critical threshold where that's even. And then you want to force the amount of revenue coming into their trucking business far and above the amount of expenses, right? And then when that happens, just like when people sign up with me, right? You got a critical threshold. You have expenses in your life and you may have some business expenses too. But what I need to do as quickly as possible is to get your revenue in your business to where it's over and beyond the amount of expenses you have in your life. That's what you really want, right? I know my customers, my potential customers may not think about that, but I'm thinking about that. And I know when I get your revenue up and beyond that, it takes a load off of you because that's why you're coming to me. That's why you're on this live right now because you want to increase that critical threshold because you may feel like you're not making enough money to keep up with your expenses. So I'm already thinking about that. The only thing I'm thinking about when you join the revenue launch, that's why it's the revenue launch operating system. I put it right in the name for a reason because I know people want their amount of revenue to, be over and beyond the amount of bills they have, right? And then you got to realize it's the same way for your owner operators, the amount of personal bills they have and the amount of bills they have in their trucking business. And you need to be thinking that deep from day one because once you get their revenue to exceed that, they're gonna be like, then they go, first they might be stressed, worrying up at night, and then after that, shit, I'm relaxing. So what you got to say, kids? I'm relaxing.
All
You know what I'm
I
saying?
was going to say is about that profit margin. Once you reach that profit margin, you have that room to relax and breathe, and you know let your hair down just a little bit. And I think, like you said, for the same, with the owner operators, once they meet that critical threshold or above it, beyond it, their profit margins start to look better, and then all of us can, breathe. Because I'm happy when they're happy. When their profit margin is looking good, that means mine is looking good as well. We helping each other.
Right. See, that's what your owner operators really want. They just wanted their life to be. That's what everybody wants. Think basic. Let's get basic principle. That's what we're missing, just basic principles. Everybody wants their life to be easier. Everybody wants to make more money without stressing as much. Simple as that. So then you got to think, see, that's why I said just getting your LLC and EIN number and a dispatch agreement, that's not far enough. You got to think about how can I, we're business owners. Think you're a founder, business owner. You got to think about how can I make my potential customers life easier? How can I get them not to have as much stress? Now, when you start getting that to happen, people gonna stick with you forever. They're not going anywhere because they're gonna be able to realize once they signed up for your freight dispatch company, their life became easier, right? And that's my goal. And I'm thinking about that. That's why my goal is when somebody sign up with me, you ain't going nowhere because I'm gonna keep getting your life to become easier and easier. happiness, right? Hmm. Yep, I know I got it's got Bishop King saying it's crazy. I talked to you today. He talked to me today and scheduled a free strategy call. Appreciate you for being here. Uh, believe the link should be in the description if you want to schedule a free strategy call with me so I can get, you aligned in the right way so I can get you thinking different than just the average market. That's my goal on those strategy calls. So, key message: we do not simply book loads, we analyze the trucking operation and help close the gap between its current performance and its revenue goals. You want to be able to close the gap. And see, when owner operators are on a phone call with you, or shoot, let me not even go that far down the pipeline. Like I say in my videos, you got the marketing department, the sales department, the onboarding department, and the dispatching or operations department. Most people only think about the operations department or the dispatching department, but you got to get every lead got to flow through all those departments. Basically, see what you really want in your freight dispatch agreement. People think you need an LLC EIN number, but what you really want is alignment. We need to start using that word more, alignment. So when all those departments are in alignment, that's when you make money or generate cash flow. So So you want to close the gap between, so when you're speaking or when you're posting on social media, you want to post in a certain way where owner operators believe that you can close the gap between where they're at now and where they want to be. A transformation. Your customers are really looking, when people come to me to launch their freight dispatch business, I already really know what they want. They want a transformation. They know where they're at right now in their life and in their world and what's going on. And they got this idea in their mind of where they really want to be. And I have to market and I have to speak in a way where I can give you that transformation that you really want. Right. So I can't just be marketing about, oh, get your LLC, then get your EIN number. See, that's not, you can get that and still not have a transformation. See, I know people really want what my people want that come to me to help launch their freight dispatch business. They probably want to spend more time with their husband or their wife. They want more time at home. They're working too much. They're away from their family too much. They're not making enough money. They want a transformation, right? And it's the exact same with your owner operators. So if you're not marketing at the top of the pipeline in a way that gets them to believe that you can give them a transformation, they're never going to want to get on a phone call with you. You're never going to talk to them on a phone call, right? And then once you get them on so it's about alignment. You got to think, what do my customers really want? Because,
But I also wanted to jump in right here so that so the audience can know and people can understand that also with coming into the revenue launch system and getting all this information and building out your business from the ground up. Also understand it's also about trusting the process. So transformation is not an overnight type of transformation. Transformation is a process. So what I mean by trust the process, of course, soon as you get into the revenue launch system, you're not day one or day two, you're going to be instantly getting on the operators and on the phone and sales calls. Eventually, you will get there. Not saying that it couldn't happen in day one, day two, but I seriously doubt it because you have to then first understand the steps and the energy that you're going to need to build everything out. Now, rarely would someone come in on day one, but within week one, me and Anton has definitely seen it happen in week one. So come in ready to do the work, and you can manifest things to happen quite fast. But we're here to help you and prepare you for the process along the way.
right. Yep. So, yeah, You're dry, like Kizzy say, yeah, it may not happen on day one, but see what you really want in a freight dispatch business, because the only thing that builds a freight dispatch business, or the only thing that helps you get from where you're at now to what you have in your mind, is getting an increase in amount of leads, sales calls, driver signups, and weekly revenue. So that means, like I say, you can have the LLC and EIN number and all that, but really, see, you need to be increasing those metrics I just named. And just like for me, when I first started my freight dispatch business, as all those metrics were increasing, then I started to see what was in my mind coming true in the world, right? See, it's a manifest, like Kizzy said, manifest. It's a manifestation as you increase those metrics. And I still can't get over it to this day. Like, I still remember when I first started, and as all those metrics was increasing, I'm like, man, what I was thinking in my mind, where I wanted to be at, I'm starting to see with my eyes. I'm like, this is crazy, right? But that's what business is. That's what we want. We want the manifestation of our idea, of our higher purpose, of where we see exactly what you see in your mind, you want coming true in the world. And the LLC and the EIN number alone and learning load boards isn't going to do it.
That's true. And I want to just jump in right there and just let people know that had I gave up, had I quit, had I not had the faith to continue when I was not seeing the results in the beginning, I would not be here on this live with you all today. I'm only here because I never quit. I trusted the process, and I was not going to quit until I came and got what I came to get, which was my business in motion, was with automations and all the different components to my business, so that if someone calls and want to sign up with me right now, I can handle it right from my phone
Right.
in real time.
Hmm. So yeah, guys, we're in a phone-based economy now. It's no longer a job-based economy. Really, you want to just start something that you can run. Anywhere I have this, I can do everything I need to do. I do have I got a desktop with two screen monitors. I got a, laptop that I'm on now. But as long as I have this, I have everything I need, right? And then I say these days, I don't even need this. Like, my business can run without me. And that's where we want to get to, where your business can run without you, right? People can sign up, and I have support staff that can help people out. I got Kizzy. And so basically, it's a system. It's not about Antoine West any longer. It's about the operating system, right? That's already in place. And a lot of people probably think they still need to just talk to me. You don't need to talk to me. I'm not bigger than the program, not even me. The program is bigger than me, right? You want to start something that can last after you're gone. Isn't that what the whole point of business is about? Something that you can pass down to your kids and your kids' kids. This system doesn't need me.
Generational wealth. Exactly, Antoine. That's exactly what generational wealth is when you can pass down the system to your kids, and your kids can pass down the system to their kids. And anybody who's ever created generational wealth, that's exactly what they passed down, was the system to keep the wealth coming in to the business. Not just saying, oh, here's some money and manage this business, without teaching the child, or the next generation, the system to keep the business going and thriving.
Mhm. See, what a lot of people have got off of is an operating system. A system, like as he said, you want a system that works, that's able to generate revenue. Remember, that's what we started business for. See, most people now, they're starting a business and they're thinking about it like a job. Oh, I want to be a dispatcher. How do I do this? How do I learn the load boards? It's all I. No, I need to create a system that can be in place, that can run without me even being there, right? And really, what you want to do, a business is about being able to generate an increasing amount of money with doing less and less work, right? And we're always implementing more ideas into the system. I say, like Kizzy's dispatcher right now, what we were talking about, I know her. See, Kizzy's getting an increase in amount of drivers to sign up, right? And the constraint that's causing in Kizzie's business right now is her dispatchers are having to sign more increase in amount of new broker packages and things like that, right? But what me and Kizzy are going to be implementing, we're going to be bringing somebody on just to fill out the new carrier packets, so her dispatchers don't have to do that, and they can concentrate more on keeping her trucks moving. What is really helping to retain drivers, right? See, we breaking the system all the way down, right? Like Kizzy has dispatchers, but even more than just her dispatchers being dispatchers, we're taking see, we we took a workload off of Kizzy by having her to have dispatchers. But see, now we want to start removing things from those dispatchers so they can concentrate more on the owner operator more. And now we're having support staff within the revenue launch system who would just fill out new carrier package, right? So her and the other LBOs, logistic business operators, when their dispatchers need to fill out new carrier packages, they just get to this one person that fills out new carrier packets for everybody. It's a system. It's a system, right? And then when we get too busy, when that one person gets too busy with new carrier packets, we hire a second one and a third one and a fourth one. So really, a business system, you're supposed to set it up in a way where you can scale forever. I can take how much ever demand that comes to me. It don't matter because I can always hire more people to do more duties as I increase demand.
And that's exactly what I do with owner operators. Help them to create and stabilize their business and create systems within their business so they can scale out of the truck. And then we rinse and repeat. After we build that profitable lane for that truck, we rinse and repeat with the second truck and the third truck. Trust me, my owner operators are thriving and they're growing and scaling their business. And as they scale, out of the truck, I also scale more back out of the business because I have dispatchers in place. I have staff support system in place to where that's less and less for me to have to do, and everything else can be as automated as possible. And if I do need to get on any phone calls, a lot of times I'm developing those relationships with shippers and brokers to benefit my carriers who are signed up with me.
Mhm. Excellent, excellent. So, I mean, I can feel it. I feel the energy, even though this is what I do every day. But you see how me and Kizzy, we're not really speaking it like as the industry speaks, or we're not really speaking in 2026. See, we're way further down the road. And that's where that's supposed to be how our businesses are. We're just not repeating what the industry says because that's not what we do, because we got motion. We have momentum. So that's how your freight dispatch business is supposed to be, not just on how to book loads, because that's not going to generate any revenue. But see, the fact that we can speak on this and we can be further, and like basically our consciousness is further. See, your consciousness is not supposed to match the industry. Your consciousness is not supposed to match the economy. See, that's what creates a stagnant economy. That's why the economy is the way it is now, because small business owners are just thinking like what's already out there, and it just creates the same results. But we want to unite with the higher power. So basically what I'm doing in business, I'm in my mind with God, and I'm thinking way further, and me and God is you know creating a plan, and then I'm giving you that plan, right? So I'm not just looking at the physical world. I'm using the single eye, the imagination, and I'm coming up with a plan, and then I'm watching that plan manifest into the world. That's just business 101. you know
Well, and what I think has happened in the trucking industry for so long, those outdated things did work. Where there was one or two or three or four dispatchers that had the experience and were actually helping owner operators get loads. But those owner operators were unable to scale because all those dispatchers were doing were booking them loads and not actually mentoring them, developing them, and explaining to them the different steps that needed to be in place so that they could scale, so that they could get their finances in order, so that they could scale and get multiple trucks.
Right.
Because one truck is too close to none. If you only have one truck and your truck goes down as a carrier, then your business automatically stops. Well, once you have the trucks, or at least the one that's profitable, then you start looking at your revenue so that you can scale. And the information that people have been duplicating is outdated now. So what we need going forward is people like you and I who have, between both of us and everyone who comes into the revenue launch system, we all have networks and connections and have more to offer any owner operators that come to any of our, on board with any of our services, because of the network and the business, network that we have built amongst all of us collaboratively. And I think what people are not realizing is doing it the old way is keeping the trucking industry behind instead of moving forward. And so we are innovative with our thinking, and we realize that we're better together versus working independently.
Hmm.
So many people, as dispatchers who are independent, get burned out fast, just like owner operators who do try to do everything themselves get burned out fast. And then that causes another pain point within the industry. And so, since we are working together collaboratively and being innovative, we're taking trucking to the next level with technology.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I know Clint commented on a video, and I believe the last one I made about blue ocean strategy. I know Clint was saying I opened up his mind spiritually. So we got, like people say, everything is spiritual, right? So yeah, it's just low value. It's low value putting out this day and age, right? So that's why we're not moving. That's why everything's stagnant these days. So really, everything is spiritual. So how I learned business is like you want to take a look at the industry, take a look at the market, and remember the market is just old thoughts. Everything you look at about trucking, if it's already out there, that's just old thoughts made manifest. So you really just want to look at what's already out there on the without, and then go within yourself and say, how can I think of a bigger and better idea? Right? Because what's already out there, see, that's not high enough value. That's not enough energy. So you got to go within yourself where the energy comes from. So you go within yourself, you think of something bigger and better than everything that's already out there. And then that's what you give. That's what business is supposed to be, not about creating a carbon copy, right? Because that's just a lower amount of energy, and that attracts a lower amount of cash flow, because money, physical money, is energy, is frequency, right? So you got to have higher frequency within you, and then you give that out to your customers. But see, maybe because it's not being taught like that now, so everybody just automatically in any business just thinks about what's already out there and like, oh, I seen this, so let me do that. I never think like that, right? I'm already somewhere further in my mind. And just to give out a little tip too, I like giving out. This is about to be $1 million tip I'm about to give out, right? So basically, how I get my business, like the revenue launch system, how am I always able to speak about this higher value? Because within myself, this is how I learn business. Within my imagination, I'm done with this. I'm already somewhere much further within my mind, right? So if you want to get far in business, most people are just going to be seeing the freight dispatch business. It's like, oh, how do I do this? How do I get to this point? And it's kind of like a lack of faith, thinking and speaking that way to yourself, right? But how you want to get further in the industry, you want to have confidence and see yourself with a successful freight dispatch business with multiple freight dispatchers working for you, multiple trucks within your business, and then see yourself where that's going to get you, right? By having all that come true, where are you going to be at after that, right? So even from the beginning, I'll tell you from the beginning, I was already done. Like even when I was just starting, and even that's how I built my confidence. That's how I built my confidence is by seeing myself at the end further than that, right? So that's even where I arrived to where I'm at now. When I didn't have any customers, when I was struggling, when I used to have those thoughts like, man, how I'm gonna sign up drivers? This is hard. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to market. I'm like, no, I can't. No, that ain't me. I can't be thinking on those lines. That's not the real Antoine because that's not confidence to me. I like to appear with confidence. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to think past this. I'm gonna have to tell myself, okay, I'm gonna be successful at that. And I thought about myself here when I have people signed up with me and we're working as a team. I thought about myself, okay, well, even though I don't have any drivers right now, I need to think about myself when I have freight dispatchers working with me as a team. I didn't call it, I didn't have the title for it, revenue launch system. But see, we can only create by where we're what we're thinking about. So to tell you, yeah, this where I'm at now, this is what I was thinking about, and I'm here. I'm here, right? And this is what I was thinking about when I didn't have any drivers. And now I'm here, right? So you got to keep your mind focused on the end. What they say that the end creates means to the end, or whatever they say.
Well, I agree, Antoine. I always see myself as a boss. I always see myself as a business owner. I actually had a business, a different business before coming into the trucking industry full force. I always had a passion for the trucking industry, but didn't know quite how to navigate it. So once I found you online, and I seen you for many months, I watched you and the information you put out. So I knew once I got with you that I would have the foundation and the knowledge from you to actually get my business off the ground. And actually, because like you said earlier, I had already taken a course and still was not where I wanted to be in my business. But I seen myself being active and having a flourishing business. And thanks to me actually investing in myself and investing in my business by getting into your boot camp, it has now brought me to where I've always seen myself as operating as a boss in the trucking industry. So I encourage anyone who is passionate about the trucking industry, who wants to make that change from just getting more training or more knowledge or more research, to come into the revenue launch program or operating system where you can actually be fed the knowledge and the steps to successfully build the foundation that you need to launch.
Definitely, definitely. Yep, like Kizzy said, it's an operating system. See, most people are starting their businesses with the same operating system. Like, "Hey, I'm just going to watch some videos." They don't think about these are the same videos thousands and thousands of people are watching. But see, mostly everybody, it's just like owner operators. The freight dispatchers or owner operators, they aren't any different. Everybody's trying to get started with the same operating system, not realizing that's an operating system. If you're just watching videos online, that's an operating system that you're attempting to launch your business with. And that's an operating system majority of the market is using, as we all know about becoming successful in life. It could be making money or reaching success. If you're trying to use the same operating system everybody else is, that's just the general operating system. So
It's going to be
you
watered down.
yeah, you get
A
the
lot of
same
that stuff
results.
is outdated information, anyways.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So like Kizzy said, see yourself as a boss. See yourself as already there. That's the only way to get there. If you're only looking at yourself as you are now, you can't get further. You can't get increase. You can't get abundance. Right.
And I also look at it like this: any boss that you have ever seen or ever known who was successful, they also had a team. So I explain this for my carriers as well as anybody who's on this live who is already a dispatcher or aspiring dispatcher who wants to connect with the revenue launch operating system, be prepared to be team minded. It's about not it's about what we can do collectively together. And the reason why I say that is because everything needs to tie together in order for it to work, even if you were independently. But why do it independently and working harder instead of smarter? Because it's smarter to be connected to a network that has more information, more insight, more wisdom, more knowledge, more revenue, or even just more connections. See, network and net worth go hand in hand in this industry. The connections that you have with people are worth their weight in gold. So if I'm building all these connections with brokers, factoring companies, funding companies, um, you name it, shippers, I'm building these connections and these relationships because all of that um, helps my owner operators. At the end of the day, my customer is the owner operator, and my goal is to make sure that their business is successful.
Hmm. So what Kizzy made me think about is a Bible verse. And so I use a lot of Bible verses. That's what really made me successful and get to where I'm at. So even exactly what she said, I thought about Matthew 18:20. For where two or three gather in my name, there I am with them. So basically what we do in the revenue launch system or the faith launch system, we go ahead, we go in faith and see where we all want to be. And we aim our thought, our consciousness towards that place. And then, of course, that's what we bring into the physical world. So, like she said, team, like, it's about having more than one mind aiming their energy and putting the energy into what they want. And as we speak about this as a group, those are the results that we get. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, and kids, she's really wanting to stress just the team effort, right? Team is it's about a team. See, that's outdated. Just thinking you can do something by yourself. That's like me. That's like me not having any team with me, and I'm just selling training or just selling courses, and then everybody's individual. No, I want you to see the exact reason I'm practicing what I preach. I can't do this all by myself anymore. Especially in 2026, times have just changed. So I need a full team. Think about like the information Kizzy's putting out. Think about it if I didn't have Kizzy. If I didn't have Kizzy, I wouldn't be able to help people get as far. And I got Kizzy, I got other success, I got cold callers that's able to cold call owner operators for you that's doing this on a daily basis. As soon as you step into the operating system, you get access to those same cold callers that's already doing it. Yeah, go back 5 years ago. I didn't have cold callers. I didn't have people that's already doing it to work in your business when you start. But I gotta change with the times, right? Because consciousness will get ahead of me.
Well, and I think what people should understand is that this same system is in every other successful business. Just like you were speaking on McDonald's earlier. If you were to work at McDonald's, they have a manager. That's not necessarily the owner of the store, but he has managers in place. He has people who work the fries, people who work the burgers, people who work the cashier, to check people out, people who work the drive through. That's all a operating system. And it has to flow so that people can get their food fast. And that's the thing. Same with Chick fil A, like you did your live video the other day about Chick fil A and their efficiency. So the thing is, we can work together in this trucking industry, and our end user is the carriers. So we want to work together fast and efficiently so that the end user, which are the owner operators and the carriers, so that they're successful in their business. And we work together as a team to achieve that.
Definitely. Yes, all about that operating system. So reason number 4. why aspiring freight dispatchers struggle to sign truck drivers in. You see, I bet we discussed a lot of this already just in our natural conversation. They lack credibility, confidence, and a structured sales process. The problem, many aspiring freight dispatchers enter sales conversations needing the driver more than the driver needs them. This causes them to sound uncertain, over explain, make unrealistic promises, lower their prices too quickly, avoid difficult questions, lose control of the conversation, struggle with objections, fail to follow up, attempt to close without identifying the problem. So I'll just even stop there. So, like, even more, earlier in the boot camp, when it was called a boot camp, so what drivers would do is they would take control of the conversation, asking you, what loads can you book me? How much money can you make me? What lanes do you have? Like, but it's like that's like people coming to me. Be honest, you get on a call with me, like I need to be telling you, I need to be doing the majority. Well, I need to hear where you're at right now so I can get that in my mind. And then after that, I need to be giving you solutions, right? But what owner operators would do, they would take over the phone call. But if what even the questions, like basically, like for people coming to me to launch their freight dispatch business, if they could even ask me the right questions to ask, that means they already know what to do, right? But the questions that they ask isn't even in alignment with the goal of making more revenue. If you already know the right questions to even ask, then you should already know how to generate revenue without me. So Kizzy knows that too. On a lot of these calls you have with owner operators, they could take over the call, but that's when you have to like interject. You're the leader. You're the leader, right? Because they're coming to you because they have pain points. So you need to just see where they're at in their business, and then you need to give them a diagnosis, right? You,
And that's where you also have those conversations with the owner operators or the carriers. They're looking for you to be able to have those questions prepared as well for them so that they can trust you and see what knowledge that you have in regards to their equipment type. So, and I thank you for teaching me that skill.
Yeah, definitely. See, all this is going to come before the dispatching, right? Most people just think about it dispatching operation. See, we're in the sales department right now, right? And like I say, the marketing department, the marketing department is everybody who comes in contact with your brand, right? That's always going to be the largest department via the law of attraction. This is all about, so you're trying to attract people to your operations or dispatching department, and they have to know about you. In the marketing department, they have to know about the brand. And I include this too. What we need to think about is you got to build a personal brand first. These days, people are interested in you just like people are interested in me because of the personality that I show, right? So if you're not showing personality, then they're not even going to want to sign up with you because they don't know who you are. They're not able to catch those vibrations, and the vibrations that you give off, just like with anything else, like me and Kizzy talked about, like with a relationship, the vibrations that you give off is who you're going to attract, right? Because you're building a relationship with your owner operators. So your marketing department, the amount of people that have visibility on you, that's the marketing department. They are going to be, that department is always going to be bigger than any of the rest of the departments. Next comes the sales department. The amount of people you get on a phone call, that's always going to be less, a little bit less than the marketing department, right? Your sales department is going to be less than your marketing department. And then the amount of people that you send your dispatch agreement to and get that back to, that's the onboarding department. That's always going to be less than the sales department and the marketing department. And then your dispatching department or your operations department is always going to be smaller or less, smaller, probably a better word to use. Your dispatching or operations department is always going to be smaller than your onboarding department and your sales department and your marketing department. So, as the founder, now if you're just a dispatcher, like you're working a job, we all work jobs before too, where the only thing you got to think about is the operations. Just go into work and do your job, right? But see, as the founder, as the owner operator, as the owner or the founder of a dispatching business, it's not about just going into work and doing your job, right? It's because you, as the founder, the marketing department will always be more important than anything else, right? But see, in the freight dispatch industry, do some market research. What seems to be the most important department? The operations or dispatching department. And that's misalignment. And since so much energy is being sent there, people just think about that and they never build the pipeline. See, that's social media fake, right? That's what I'm talking about. Too watered down, right? Real business is you think about the entire pipeline. That's why most people don't have drivers, because they only think about the dispatching department. And the way you present your business in the marketing department creates the flow of leads, or I can say the cash flow, because the leads are are the people that have the money. So you got to increase the lead flow to increase the cash flow. So really, a freight dispatch business is about getting people to sign up, and then you retain those drivers over time. At the same time, attract new drivers, and now you have a true operating system where your revenue is increasing at all times, because that's what a business or operating system is a system that generates an increasing amount of revenue, not just watching videos, not just taking paid training or free training or getting your LLC or learning load boards or LLC or EIN number, or if DAT load board is the best, a truck stop, I can go on and on and on. I'm saying that, and that's why we're at the point we're at now. Got something, LC?
No, nothing at this time.
Okay, okay. But yeah, guys, so the answers are clearly visible, clearly visible. A business is about alignment. So don't just think you want your, LLC or EIN number. Or don't just think you want to be a freight dispatcher. You want alignment within your freight dispatching business. Go to Chat GPT, go to some AI, and say, how do I get alignment within my freight dispatch group business, and start taking those things into your consciousness. And that's what's going to really create a successful business. And then when you sign up owner operators, it's about getting alignment. It's not just about booking them loads. It's not just about keeping them in this particular lane, or it's not just about a particular load board. It's how do I create alignment within my customer's business? Because we've been on here over 2 hours now. Every single thing me and Kizzy talked about is about getting alignment in your business, because that's the only thing that matters. Alignment with source, alignment with the goal that you want to see manifested into your business. That's the only thing that matters, right?
Yes, an increase of revenue from week to week.
Right. And how this works to get spiritual on you guys, God, or abundance, God, abundance, source, that power is always expanding. It's infinite, right? Let's get back to real business, right? It's infinite. It's an infinite power. It never gets to one point and then just stops. It never cap. God don't cap off. That's not the way that power works. That's not the way the Almighty works. It's always increasing. And when your business is in alignment with that power, the business always increasing.
You
Right.
better
So
preach,
yeah,
Antoine.
I'm saying let me preach. Let me preach. Yeah, so yeah, she about to have me going. So basically, that's what's the business world is misaligned. The economy is misaligned. This country is misaligned. That's the problem. That's why we're seeing these constraints now, because really we're supposed to get in alignment with that higher power. And if that not if, Lord forgive me, because it ain't no if. That power is always increasing. But if you are in alignment with that power, your business will always increase. And what does that bring? An increasing amount of happiness into your life.
And abundance and wealth and joy. Yeah, it's about tapping in to source for sure. Because it's
Yep.
a faith walk. Anytime you take in the time out to invest into yourself and into your business, it's definitely taking faith to do those things.
Right. Yep. Takes faith. Yeah, people think about everything else. Just think about faith. Think about it actually achieving what's on your mind, right? Because the more attention you show, much more attention, or the more faith, the more deposits of faith you give to what's in your mind, then you actually manifest that, right? But what happens in business, the only reason for business failure, because people start not having faith and they take the energy out of what's in their mind because they don't think they can make it. So, yeah.
Or they let life distract them, because the minute you get on the path toward your destiny and toward your purpose, don't think that the enemy is not coming to see and test you on your faith. See, that's the thing. People have to remember that you will be tested. Your faith will be tested, but you cannot allow different distractions or different things that come up in life to take you off the course of your journey and your purpose. As Antoine has stated before in many other videos, he created this um, program or this operating system when his grandmother was on her deathbed. And Antoine has seen me, even this year alone, have to go to several funerals of close loved ones that I was connected to. But I could not allow that to deter me and distract me so much that it took me away from my purpose.
Mhm.
So things are going to come up in your life while you're on this journey. But the goal is to stay on course with your purpose and not let things pull you away so much that you lose faith and you lose focus. And do not be so eager that you lose focus or faith. Trust the process, because anything that God has for you is for you. It's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time of it catching up with you, your faith, your dedication, your determination, and your purpose will all align if you don't give up.
Right. Yep. Like I said, I've been training and mentoring people for 10 years. So I came across all kind of people that said, like, this came up, that came up. I'm going to take some time off the business. And me, when I first started, I just was reading business books, wrote by multimillionaires. And they said, like, it's kind of like common sense. If you start a business, you're going to still go through the same things: relationship problems, people, family members passing away, friends passing away, divorces, whatever. You're going to go through those things. I mean, like, it's not like the world's going to say, oh, you're starting your freight dispatch business, so no problems are coming your way. You're going to have a perfect life. That's not going to happen, right? Common sense, you're still going to go through problems. But like Kizzie said, when I started the boot camp, like I said before too earlier, I was a combat medic in the Army. I worked at a lot of different hospitals. And then my grandmother was on her deathbed when I started the boot camp, 3 years ago. And I tell you what, I'm happy to do. Sit here. I'm happy to raise up this laptop like this. Oh yeah, this is the very same laptop. When I was taking care of my grandmother on her deathbed, I was plugging away on the laptop, plugging away. So this is the exact same laptop 3 years ago when I was taking care of her, creating all this. And you see how this manifested. And when I was doing that, I'm like, oh, I'm about to keep going. I ain't slowing down for nothing, because that's what my grandmother would have wanted. And that's just how we are in my family. Like, oh no, we ain't slowing down for no death. I'm just saying straight up. That's how I'm raised. No matter what, like when we got purpose, we're not slow down for what. You know what I'm saying? That's just basically how I was raised. So it feels good to think like, man, I'm at the point right now. I didn't even know Kizzie at this time. I didn't have all the success that I have in this program and all the people. But see, if I would have stopped, you wouldn't be hearing me say this information tonight if I would have been like, oh man, I'm slowing down or I'm stopping because this is going on, right? So yeah, you got to keep going through everything. So I got a question. How long does it take for the training? So basically, it's not training, it's not a course, it is a OS, it is an operating system. And the goal of the operating system is to generate you revenue as quickly as possible, right? So I'll say I don't know the exact time frame when, because so Tracy, I don't know you're the first driver that's going to pay you money. Now, me or you don't know that person right now, but basically all that. So I can't say exactly how long it's going to take to generate revenue, but I have seen it happen in the first week before. But the goal is for me and Kizzy and the other members to give you everything from the very beginning to generate revenue as quickly as possible, because that's what we want in business. But I can't say the exact time frame because I don't know that person, who that person may be.
And so everything that he teaches us or teaches the people that come into the revenue launch system, he teaches everything that he can so that you can generate revenue as fast as possible. Then you take that information and you teach and train your carriers how to get revenue into their business as fast as possible.
Hmm.
So that's just a transfer of energy from one person to the next. And
Hmm.
that's how we help each other in this industry so that we all can eat together, the carrier and the dispatching company.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing in the revenue launch system, I'm starting to see that the system is overtaking the economy. By the energy and how we speak in the system, you guys hear how me and Kizzy speaking, we have more energy than the rest of the economy. Like, I'm starting to realize that with my members, I enjoy talking to them more than other people because to me, people just speak with so much stagnation. And that's why the economy is the way it is. And then even before I got into business, I was reading books that said like when the economy slows down, you get with a group that has a higher level of frequency because the economy is just old manifested thoughts, right? So you want to turn your back. Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your own mind. Is that not what we're doing right here? See what I'm saying? It's all spiritual.
That's
So,
exactly what we're doing inside the revenue launch system, Antoine. And because of your knowledge, your information, your wisdom, your guidance, my mind has been renewed or transformed, and I have learned so much so fast within the revenue launch system, and I'm truly grateful for all that you have poured out.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate you too, Kizzy. And yeah, really appreciate you. And so guys, yeah, that's what I always knew. Even before starting a business, it's like I gotta get my customers' frequency on another level. I gotta get you to ignore the world, turn your back to the world, and then focus on something bigger and better. And then of course that's what you're gonna create, right? That's what you're gonna create. And see, that's the same thing you got to do for your owner operators because their frequency, their energy is just on a lower level idea. That's why on the sales calls, you can't let them speak too much because you got to be put in a higher state of consciousness on their mind, basically like what I'm doing right now in real time, right? So yeah, but I'm happy to see that. I'm definitely I can definitely see the revenue launch system is starting to overtake the economy. You know, people are happier, they have a higher level of frequency, they're speaking about higher level ideas than the rest of the economy. And as this leaks out or manifests into the trucking industry, into the dispatch industry, it just creates a change. So you can't create a change with the same state of mind as what created the current circumstances. That's why the good book says, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world because it's just all previous thoughts and stuff. And then, like I said, God is always increasing and, in energy, getting bigger and better. And we just got to get in alignment with where God is taking freight dispatching and taking this trucking industry. And then just to tell you where God is taking freight dispatching and trucking industry, we just need to make see in the future trucking it will go back to like a connections. It's about making connections and building your network, not just about load boards, but it's just like how can I increase the connections or the opportunities within a trucking business, and that generates more revenue because you make more connections or opportunities with people who have high paying loads, not just the load boards, right? So right now the trucking industry is kind of playing checkers. We need to play chess. Dispatchers are playing checkers, but this you need to play chess. We're playing chess, not checkers. No,
Say chestnut checkers.
right. Yeah, man. Sometimes I wonder, like, but I guess that's the reason the economy is why it is. I'm like, what's up with the world? What happened when people used to say that? Play play chess, not checkers. The principles will never change. See, it's about see people thinking all these different thoughts, but it always be about fundamentals or principles or law, right? And we just get
Strategy.
yep, strategies. We just get in order, in alignment with that law. Yep.
Absolutely.
So let me show this outline again. Almost 2.5 hours we've been on here. But all right, and we just on reason number 4. So I think we went over this stuff. So, like I said, the lack of credibility, confidence, structure, sales calls. I might have said some of that stuff you see on my screen. Why confidence? Oh, that's a good one. Owner operators can hear the uncertainty. And like I said, see, this is all stuff we already know. We ain't got the reason number 5, but I guarantee, and I don't even know what it is, right? But I would say you'll see everything that's on this outline. Me and Kizzy probably already talked about before in this live during our conversation. It's just going to be natural. So we already said owner operators can hear uncertainty. Why confidence is usually missing. The aspiring freight dispatchers knows there is no experienced operations behind the offer. Well, that just says something. Let me take the outline down. See, confidence is usually missing because the dispatcher knows they don't already have an operational system going on, right? If you know you don't have owner operators already doing it, in the marketing department or on the sales call, you're not going to be confident because you're not already doing it. So, what does that create? Misalignment. It's not in order. It's no order, right? So, that's why the revenue launch system, by having members, like I said, me and Kizzy been out here 2.5 hours. This is small time for us, right? So, if this the value we giving out here, this is small time when you really step into the system. So, when you really step into the system, you already have, whether you actually have drivers signed up or not, you already have an operational system because you done heard it from us or you're able to contact us already. So basically, you already have the state of mind. You just need the state of mind to see if you're doing it by yourself or you're just watching the videos that's online. You really don't have the state of mind. Really, you need the state of mind so you can feel confident, and then people can hear that in your voice in the marketing department or on a phone call. So the reason driver dispatchers, that's the whole reason. It's there clear as day. That's the reason most dispatchers never sign up a driver because they don't have that confidence or state of mind coming from a proven operating system, right? So if you don't have the proven operating system, there's no way that you can get out there with your chest out, really feel confident, right? So they are they are personally responsible for fulfilling every promise they make. So yeah, so you're going to come in brand new, no experience, no proven operating system, and then you have to be personally responsible for fulfilling every promise that you make. This creates pressure, hesitation, and fear. So everybody, I admit, because I know how it was, most people probably feel pressure, hesitation, and fear from starting. I probably could tell people to comment in the chat, like if you feel pressure, hesitation, and fear from starting. I'm not even going to ask people to do that. But if I ask people to comment in the chat, that might be everybody because you never done it before and you don't have a proven operating system. And then drivers, sales is spiritual, marketing is spiritual. People can feel that energy in your marketing or sales, right? Not to have too much ego or to brag about myself, but I'm guessing you can feel that I know what I'm talking about right now in real time because I don't have any pressure right now. I don't have any hesitation. I don't have any fear, right? Because this is what I'm doing. This is natural. It's natural to me. The revenue launch system. Oh, go ahead, Kizzy.
I was just gonna say, and that confidence comes from doing it day in, day out, for from basically getting with people who are like minded, and you're talking about it daily. What the next step is, what you're doing actively, and because Antoine is so experienced and has been doing this for many years, that is that is where you get all of that knowledge and information, insight, and throughput from, so that you can launch correctly or with the right velocity
Right. Good
and
thing you brought.
confidence
Yep. Velocity. Good thing you brought that up. See, and then see our words actually manifest. So basically, what most new business owners are thinking, they're not thinking the words. See, if you think certain words, that's what's going to manifest in your business and velocity. So you want velocity. See, most people think, oh, I want an LLC, I want an EIN number, I need a dispatch agreement. Who says I need velocity? I love it. Velocity. That's what we need. Like velocity creates, see, everybody wants revenue, but see, we think about the lag indicators, but we don't think about the lead indicators. What creates revenue in your business is velocity. And see, when you come into the revenue launch system, what do we already have in the operating system? Velocity. We already have velocity. We already have velocity, motion, momentum, demand, interest. No, let's get it. Getting back to the outline. I love what I do. That too. You got to love what you do. I absolutely love. That's how we on here 2 hours and 30 minutes, because I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Right? It's exciting. It's about the energy, and owner operators need to see that when you first start your business. They need to see the energy. So I'm gonna put this question up here. Here. I have a question that you may have already answered, but I just joined. Do you have any advice to give for people who are brand new, have never booked a load, or talked to a trucker how to get a client? Yep, everything we just been talking about for the last 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, I would just yeah, that's all we've been talking about. Your exact question. That's the only thing we talked about for the last 2 hours and 30 minutes. Right. So I just say go back and watch the video, but it's to join a proven. See, I could just say join a proven operating system, but that really don't do any justice unless you just watch. Now, me just saying that is one thing, but if you go back and watch the last 2 hours and 30 minutes, see, and that's the thing too. I say straight up, be honest. See, people believe that can just be answered in one simple question. But yeah, the one simple question is to join a proven operating system. But people will be like, well, what are you talking about? You need to explain a little bit more. But yeah, these two, go back and watch the 2 hours and 30 minutes. Just go get you right. Just go get you real right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's just how business is too. It's not just like a answer that I can give you, or like I said, I did give it, join a proven operating system, but I know you'll want to hear more than that. So that's the only reason, that question is the only reason me and Kizzy came on it live tonight.
Yes, I was just going to say everything you need to know to answer that question is already within the revenue launch operating system, because it's more about you and the steps that you have to take in order to talk to and to get that said client. It's more than, oh, let me direct you to the website that you go to start looking for them, because then what do you say once you get on that phone call with them? Yeah, he could give you a script, or would you prefer to have owner operators reaching out to you, because they have already seen your advertising, your marketing skills, and your knowledge that you're putting forward on your marketing. So you want someone who's attracted to you, your voice, your marketing skills, your business, your brand. That way, that potential customer and client is more inclined to work with you and basically help you get the experience that you need, as well as you give them the experience and knowledge that you learn from within the operating system. I hope that answered your question.
What I'm going to start doing, I was gonna bring it up during the live too, and this will help you out a lot more, guys. So what I'm gonna start doing on some of my videos, I'm gonna start giving you a revenue launch quick start guide. So I'm gonna have a link if I can find it here. If not, I'll get it. It'll be in the description of this video after we end it. But I might have it right here. I'm just looking through. I don't have it shared on the screen right now, but okay, okay, yep. Yeah, I'm gonna have you soon. I'm gonna have you my quick start guide, and it's gonna be basically a summary of this video. And I'm gonna start doing this in a lot of my videos to get people in alignment. So it's gonna help get you in alignment quicker. I'll probably drop it after this video, guys. I have my quick start guide. So make sure if you're watching this video, give me a couple minutes after we end it, and you have access to my quick start guide, and that'll help you out too a little bit more. Right. So sharing this again. So confidence is usually missing because aspiring freight dispatchers knows there are no experienced operations behind the offer. So basically, if people are starting, and this is like everybody, trying to start a business when you know for sure that you don't have any experienced operations behind what you're saying. So this is why people have such a fear of marketing, have such a fear of selling. This is the whole constraint. So that creates a very big constraint in your business because you know as the owner, as the founder, that you have no motion, that you don't have a OS. You don't have an operating system behind what you're saying. Yeah, that's difficult to know you really don't actually have the motion or the momentum behind what you're attempting to tell people. See, that creates a constraint. They, as I said, they are personally responsible for fulfilling every promise they make. This creates pressure, hesitation, and fear. So, me knowing that, I created the revenue launch system, and that is the solution. So, from day one, you get experienced freight dispatchers. I'll speak on that. So, what has created a lot of distrust within the trucking industry is that people come into freight dispatching as a freight dispatcher and they have no, excuse me, they have no experienced freight dispatchers. They're not experienced. They have no freight experienced freight dispatchers working within the company. And I'll say these days that won't work due to the so much distrust and due to inflation, due to high fuel prices, right? Owner operators are looking for experience when they first sign up with you. So before I started this program, people might have thought like, well, how could I have experience before I ever started my business? Oh, I got you. I got the solution. Don't worry about it. Don't think too hard about it. I got it. So basically, that's when I came up with, well, I thought about at that time, I'm like, well, I'm just training people to become freight dispatchers. And I started thinking about they got to learn marketing, they got to learn sales, they got to learn how to onboard a driver, they have to study freight dispatch. And I thought about, you know what? As time keeps going, like that's too much. And I started to see the success levels decrease. So I'm like, that's too much for a person to try to learn. It won't even work. It's not even working. That's why they're having such a hard time finding drivers. So I'm like, so I'm just going to have my dispatchers that I have hired and trained, and they have plenty of experience, and they're going to be your dispatcher. So that's what we do within the revenue launch system. So now, as soon as you sign up tonight, you already know you got an experienced team working. You don't have to be, trying to build confidence because you can speak with confidence because your team got you. So you have experienced freight dispatchers from day one. The rest of the industry could have thought that couldn't have been done. And now it's been done. Like Kizzie said earlier, she took a dispatch course. She had already took a dispatch course before she signed up with me. And still to this day, she has never, she's been with me over 2 years now. Still to this day, she has never personally dispatched the load. But you see how she's speaking. She knows what she's doing. She's talking to owner operators every day, but she has never personally dispatched a load, right? Never dispatched a load. because from day one, so that's how I'm helping people launch with the efficiency and actually sign up drivers, because you don't have to worry. We don't have to take the time to try to learn how to be a freight dispatcher. You already have experienced freight dispatchers before you have your driver. See, that's what drivers want. Before you sign up your driver wants an experienced freight dispatcher, right? Common sense. A lot of it's just common sense, but people don't look at it. It's the mindset, right? So now they have the experienced freight dispatcher before you ever sign up your first truck driver, because you're a company. You're not a dispatcher. You're a freight dispatching company. I explain it in a way like, I can't paint at all, right? It's probably a video I can bring up on YouTube. Think it's a video I probably was explaining like how much money you can make. This was years and years ago, right? My handwriting's so bad after I made that video, and it got thousands and thousands of views. But after I made that video, I said I'll never show my handwriting on social media again. And I never have. I never have, right? So it,
Oh Lord, that's how doctors be. Their handwriting, their penmanship is terrible, but they're still a doctor. They still know how to go in there and do that open heart surgery and have a steady hand when they're sewing you back up and everything like that. So it just tickled me because that's the same thing. They don't like their handwriting either, but that still doesn't take away from their knowledge and expertise in what they do.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So, and I was saying that just to say, like, I can't paint, right? I'm not a good painter. My hands ain't steady like that. But I can start a painting business because I just have to market. I just have to see what other painting businesses is doing, do my market research and see what they're not offering, and then break my pricing down and give a different offer. And then I just go out and hire experienced painters, because I would just be a painting business. That don't mean I have to personally be the painter. But see, freight dispatchers are trying to personally be the dispatcher, and that doesn't work these days, because owner operators distrust dispatchers, because they dispatchers been marketing their business without any experience dispatching. But so now in the revenue launch system, I give you experienced freight dispatchers from day one. And then you have an experienced operating team already working for you. So the revenue launch founders are supported by experienced freight dispatchers, proven discovery questions during the sales calls, proven sales scripts, gap selling principles. Gap selling principles comes from this book, Gap Selling. It's a very great book, Gap Selling, because you want to sell the gap between where your potential customers are at right now and where they want to be. That's the only thing you ever have to talk about. Just like in this video, I'm just talking about where you are right now, and I'm giving you the exact proven methods to get where you want to be. I'm filling in the gap. Brother.
And I was gonna also say, Antoine, that's another thing that you also always do is reference books, good reads. I'm still working on that book you referred me or that you sent me, Systemology, and all of these things tie into trucking and tie into the operating systems that every business has. And you're so knowledgeable from the books that you're reading. And see, so many people would not even think to read some of these books. So I'm thankful that I'm connected with someone such as yourself who knows how to even direct me to the books where you got the knowledge and the information from, so that I can know how to source it even outside of you, and what to type of books to be looking for in order to further my knowledge, because I'm a person who likes to learn, and I know in this industry it's a forever learning thing. It's a forever learning system, organization, forever learning industry and business. And some people think it's just all about, oh, let me just learn these steps. No, you're forever learning in this trucking industry. You never can learn enough. That's why Antoine is still here even 10 years later, because as he learns, he puts that information out into the industry, into the marketing that he does to attract the right people to him.
Yep. Definitely appreciate that, Kizzy. And Yeah, guys, I just dropped the link for gap selling in the chat right there. I just dropped it. So basically, when people join the revenue launch system, all this information is already implemented in the revenue launch system. Probably somebody tried to read all the books that I've already read. See, down that's going to take too much time, right? So that's why when you join the revenue launch system, every book that I name is what I information that I studied to create this system. I know someone said they want to join the next one, whenever that is. You can join right away. You join today. Me and Kizzie are helping you launch tomorrow, right? So it's not one of those things. There's no waiting, absolutely no waiting in this program. So I don't make people wait for nothing because we want to launch revenue launch system. You're right. So we're launching revenue as quickly as possible. Just to let you know, everybody, you can join at any time, and we're going to start helping you ASAP. And how frequently do we go live? I've been going live a lot more within the past few days. And I believe the reason why I see so much misunderstanding within the industry, I know if I just start going live more, I can help that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can help that. I can help that if I go live more. Just looking through the chat, seeing if it was any more questions. Yeah, so really, even what I do, I just read books and I go to business conferences, and that's what I implement into freight dispatch businesses and implement into the trucking industry. So the revenue launch system, it gives, like I said, gap selling principles, objection handling frameworks. Like I said, I get on strategy calls, and most people, the only thing, even since all these 10 years I've been in, people new to the industry, the only thing they think about is the dispatching department. That's why most people never sign up drivers, right? Because it's not aligned, because there's so much you have to do before you dispatch a driver, because that's the end of the pipeline. So that being said, objection handling frameworks, I give you that in the revenue launch system. People don't think about drivers are going to object to you. They're going to give you objections as to, kind of say things to why they may not want to sign up with you. So you have to have rebuttals for them. You have to get through all of this before you even sign up a driver, and you have to get better and better. And the better and better you get at this, you will experience pipeline acceleration. Recorded sales calls. I give you a business line. When you sign up, and my business line is integrated with my AI intelligence system. It records your sales calls, and it rates you on at after each call you get on with an owner operator. It gives you a rating on how well you built trust, how well you handled objections, how well you position the company. Because you can't position a company like your average run of the mill freight dispatch company, right? So it'll give you a rating from 1 to 10, how well you position the company as a logistics consulting firm. If the owner operator says something about, revenue, or they get in, like they're sitting too long empty, having too many empty miles or deadhead miles, and if they said something about that, and if it's something you could have said to them and they didn't, the AI intelligence system will help you, will give you ideas of what you could have said, and you get a full report after every call. So this way you get better and better with every sales call. Like I tell people, see, a lot of people won't think coming in, this is 2026, things are moving fast. I'll say from the strategy calls I'm getting on, people are thinking too slow, too outdated. So that's the reason I'm coming live, and that's the reason we've been on here about 3 hours. A 3 hour live. That's amazing, right? That's a long time. It's a long time for a live, 3 hours. Kizzy might be getting on me after this. Like, don't have me on there that long. Now, she never says that, honestly. Before this, she was busy. She had a long day signing up new drivers, operating system, right? Kizzy has had a long day signing up new drivers. That's what she was speaking about with me earlier. All the drivers she was signing up, getting them plugged in and trying, giving them the best service possible. and she's still been on this live with me 3 hours. Big shout out to Kizzie. I appreciate you so much. I got to say that because now thinking about how many drivers she signed up today, and she's still on this live for 3 hours. That's amazing. Really appreciate Kizzie. Yep. So we will.
Thank you, Antoine. I appreciate you as well.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. So basically, an AI call analysis, sales debriefs to give you a sales debrief, leadership development. When I first started this program, I used to say we're having a boot camp meeting every Saturday, right? But that's low value. That's not enough frequency anymore. After we start getting so much momentum, I had to change the name of that because it's not fitting anymore. So basically, it's a leadership development meeting. We have a leadership development meeting every Saturday where we speak about what happened in your business the week before, and then we give you ideas, proven ideas. Basically, and Kizzy would tell you, anybody would say in there, anything that I say on that Saturday meeting, if you implement it, you will see your business moving forward because I don't say nothing. I don't talk about nothing unless it's creating momentum and helping people move forward, right? I guess that goes back to being, I mentioned it during the last live, increasing man. Like I said, I have my mind in my mind. I have my mind on the bigger and better Antoine, that's bigger and better than the man you get in the physical. I have my mind on him. So basically, whatever I say at any time is going to help improve people's lives, no matter what. Because I don't say nothing that's not going to help improve people. That we need to get back there, especially as men too. We need to do some masculine development. That's how we're supposed to be as men. I say as women too, because Kizzy's doing it in real time. But I believe as a man, unless I'm saying something that's helping to improve people's lives, my mouth is shut. It ain't no use of me talking. I might as well shut up. Right. So that just being said, every Saturday, whatever I say is going to help your business move forward, guaranteed, without a doubt. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't do those. Right. And then I'm trying to give that confidence. I'm saying that not to just stroke my ego or anything like that, because like I said, as a man, that's not what matters. I'm saying that to say that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way we're all supposed to be. So we get off this low value stuff where we start speaking with power, speaking with authority, right? And then see, when we speak with authority, that's going to move people's lives. Like I say, it's not even about me. I do this I want to see people's lives move faster, more momentum in people's lives. So we have to speak with authority, not speaking about where things are at right now. We're not speaking like everyone else. Speak with authority, speak with where the world is going, so we can get out this rut we're in with the economy, basically. Yeah. So going to give you follow-up processes, CRM organization. So if you don't know what CRM is, it's customer relationship management tool, or customer relationship management. So basically, I'm going to have access to your customer relationship management tool, and we're going to have a couple different pipeline stages. So we're going to have lead in. That's when you first get a lead to reach out to you through social media, to your inbox, or to email you, or to give you a phone call. That's a lead in. That's the first stage. And then the next stage is warm lead. That's when someone becomes a warm lead. You've reached back out to them. They're interested in your services. Then after that, we have sales call schedule. And this is all going to be in your CRM. And I'm going to have access to that. So, because this is basically the pipeline. And if I could bring up a demo, I would here. I kind of check, see if I can bring up a demo that might better help explain. Bring it up. Bear with me. Bear with me. Laptop's even running a little bit slow because I'm on live and everything. If I have my demo handy. Okay. Look like we got one. Look like we got one. I probably just did this sometime previously before. It's about to be shared with you in 1 second. So it's going to look something like this. So lead in every driver, potential lead, this is where you name it like John Smith or whatever your potential lead is. You name it John Smith. You put any notes in the description about this potential lead or potential driver. So that's lead in as soon as they make contact with you. And then, once they're a warm lead, you DM them back, sent them a message back, or emailed them back. You move them to warm lead. And see, this is how you make money. See, this is what's important. Nothing else in your freight dispatch department is more important than this. And see, most people can't lead leads down through the pipeline, so that's why they can't generate revenue. See, like I told you, most people just only think about dispatching, but dispatching alone doesn't generate revenue because you have to have pipeline activity. This is your pipeline. So it's going to look like this. You can put a picture of a truck in the background to give you some motivation. But so lead in, warm lead, then you shoot them a DM, you talk to them through the DM or through the email, you get a sales call scheduled with them, you move them to sales call schedule. Maybe you speak to them on a sales call, maybe they're not a fit, or maybe they tell you to send the freight dispatch agreement to them. So you move them to agreement sent, and then you move them to agreement receive /1. And then what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to have access to this too. So I'm going to be able to read the notes on your potential driver, and I can leave comments here. Like maybe I'll tell you, hey, let's follow back up with this lead, or where are we at with this lead? So, that's why I said this is not training. This is not mentorship at all. What is training, it is mentorship, but more important, it is an operating system, right? So I'm going to help you move these leads down through the pipeline. And I'm even going to be able to comment on these cards. So I'm going to be helping you. I'm basically going to be helping you make money every step of the way. That's what I'm going to be helping you with. So that's that. So let's see here. So that was the CRM organization. And then I could have still had that up, but see, as we get an increasing amount of leads to come in through lead in, see, what I want you to understand, that's money. That's money coming on that board. And the more drivers' names or potential leads we get in on that board through what I'm telling you to do in your marketing department, is going to get an increasing amount of people to come on that board. And then we're going to move them down through the pipeline, right? Until you get that agreement back and they're converted, right? So you can get dispatch training, you can learn about the load boards all you want. You can get an LLC EIN number and all that, but if you don't have activity on that board, you're not going to be generating revenue, right? I'm going to share the screen again. Share the outline. So that was the CRM organization. And like I said, that's how business is supposed to be, not just teaching you about the back end or dispatching. I need to be helping you. That's what business used to be before we got watered down with social media, right? It's about leading. Now, of course, see, if I'm helping you get leads all the way down through that pipeline, see, that's real business, right? There's no gaps. I ain't leaving no gaps for nothing. I'm helping you build every step of the way. And that's the main thing that I'm supposed to do, help you get those leads down through the pipeline. Because if that's not going on, no revenue is being generated.
And it's a free way to do it. Whereas someone else who's doing this alone will probably have to pay for a TMS or CMR, a CRM system.
Right. Yep, that's definitely true. So basically, so what we do in this, we scale before overhead. I don't want to load you up with a bunch of extra overhead before we start getting revenue in the pipeline. So it's like you just sign up with the operating system, and after that, we got to get some more money coming into the business before we start spending more money, before we start bleeding money out, right? We got to get revenue coming into the pipeline. Let's see. Comment. Love you guys. Appreciate the information. Well, we appreciate you too. We definitely appreciate you for being on the live tonight. So basically, everything I'm saying, especially with the CRM, you see, that's the whole problem. If that's not going on, then like for me, like if I'm not helping you get leads down through the pipeline, then I'm wasting your money, pretty much. Just being blatantly honest, you know. Yeah. So most people are just learning the back end, spending, learning the back end for free or even spending money and only learning about the back end, and that's what we call misalignment. You know. Okay, appointment setting support. So, right, we go help you. I'm going to help you set appointments utilizing that CRM, and then also it comes. The revenue launch system comes with 20 hours of support team services. So my video editors, my graphic designers, my appointment setters, they can do anything. They can even have access to your inboxes on social media. Comments, and they can reply to your comments, to your inboxes, so you don't got to always worry about what exactly do I say back. These are people that's already doing it for Kizzie and the other members. And see, that's what we got to have these days. It's not just about training or mentorship. You need people already successful and doing it, working in your business from day one. It's so much misalignment in the market. Just training or mentorship won't get the business off the ground. And that's why we see so many people not signing up drivers or not generating revenue. Yeah, yeah. So, so with the revenue launch system, the founder does not have to pretend to personally know everything, right? You got people working with you. You don't have to pretend to know everything. The founder's responsibility is to lead lead conversation, understand the owner operator's problems, identify the performance gap, explain the company's operating system, connect the client with experienced operations team. See, this is what you really need to know as the founder. As the founder is not, like Kizzie said, if that was in the nice live, like Walmart, she was bringing up Walmart is not about you being a cashier, you being the grocery team manager, the produce manager, and you running every single department and doing everything yourself. You know, the founder of Walmart is not doing everything himself. I guess Sam Walton, he's not doing everything himself, you know. Chick-fil-A, the founder or the owner is not cooking chicken sandwiches, right? Because you can know how to cook an excellent chicken sandwich. I said that in my live about the Chick-fil-A operating system. Just because you know how to cook a great chicken sandwich or just because you know how to make great homemade lemonade does not mean you know how to run a business, right? So you can learn everything you know about dispatching. You can actually be an expert dispatcher. You can actually have worked for a freight dispatch company before. And I say, just like nothing against the dispatchers that work within the revenue launch system, but they're expert dispatchers. But that doesn't mean they know how to run a freight dispatch business. That's a big difference, right? And they don't want to run a dispatch business. That's why they are dispatchers, right? But see, people come into it thinking because you become a dispatcher that means you're going to know how to run a freight dispatch business. And basically everything I talked about on the live is more so talking about owning and scaling a successful, profitable freight dispatch business that can last for years and years and years. That's what you want, right? But just being a dispatcher won't necessarily give you that information or give you that skill set. Yeah. So share the outline again. I think this is definitely the longest live I ever done in my life. 3 hours plus. Let's get it. See, what I'm doing and why it's the longest live, my goal is to align the market. I know the market is not aligned. Like we said in the beginning of it, I take responsibility. I take responsibility for the most of this. Why you can't sign up drivers? Like I said, when I first started on freight dispatching, nobody else. When I say nobody was online on video speaking about freight dispatching, See, only I would really know that because I'm the one who started it. So I take full responsibility, and that's why I'm on live 3 hours tonight. Because if I know the reason why people can't sign up drivers, that means I know the solution too, right? In order to know the solution, you have to know the fault or the reason, right? So I know the reason and I know the solution. So I got both ends covered, right? So nobody was online speaking about freight dispatching whatsoever, and that's the reason. That's why I have all the knowledge. That's why my videos are so good online for free, because I've been doing it so long and nobody else was online speaking about freight dispatching. And basically I started all that momentum, and people, a lot of people. So what then happened over the years, people have watched my free videos and attempted to launch a freight dispatch business. Now, of course, 6 months after I got online talking about this, a year after I got online, yeah, it was much easier. Yeah, it was definitely easier than 10 years after I've been putting out information. Yeah, it was easier. It was easier before 10 years of me putting out information, and then other people seeing me put out information and them starting a training course or starting a mentor, because what I'm putting out, right, is a lot different back then. But now it's changed, and that won't work. So just want to deliver the solutions. Yep. So I should be doing a pretty good job. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of aligning people with what it really takes. No. Key message: confidence does not come through pretending to have experience. Now, that just says something. You can't get confidence by pretending to have experience. Confidence comes from knowing that an experienced team and proven operating system support your offer, right? Knowing you got backup behind you. That's what's going to give you confidence. Finally getting, we only was going over 5 reasons. After 3 hours, we just now get in on reason number 5. And I will say this is the most important video about freight dispatching ever made in history. Ain't no other video more important than this one about freight dispatching, right? You might go out, purchase training courses, that the training courses last for hours. I done came on live for free, 3+ hours, right? And this is still, just a little bit of information. This is the tip of the iceberg, the very tip of it. Reason number 5, they are trying to build and operate the entire business alone. Like I said, everything I already knew, we already talked about this. The problem: traditional training teaches one person to become the entire company. One person to become the entire company. The aspiring dispatcher is expected to do all these: create content, generate leads, answer messages, make cold calls, conduct sales calls, follow up, prepare contracts, onboard carriers, find loads, negotiate rates, complete broker package, communicate with drivers, resolve operational problems, track performance, manage the business, right? So that would take so long, so long. That's why so much misalignment, because people are attempting to do all that and then they're not even thinking about doing all that. They're just thinking about dispatching. That's the misalignment. That's the misalignment. So the structure, that's not scalable. You can't scale a business. You can't get off the way people see. It's an operating system. See, 97% of the market is coming into the business with the same operating system, attempting to do everything themselves off of free videos, or after off of just training videos or courses, which a lot of other people have took that same training video or that same course, and then they're attempting to do all of this. So that's the misalignment, and it's not a scalable business. So basically, getting back to real business before watered down social media took over. So a business is an operating system, and the way you start your business, the operating system you start your business with, should be scalable. From day one of starting your business, you should have an operating system to where you can attract and sign up an unlimited amount of customers. Think about it: Walmart, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, I don't know, any business, Dick's Sporting Goods, any business. can always scale. They can build an increasing amount of buildings if they have to. They can hire an increasing amount of employees. So that's the way your business has to be set up from day one. Even if you don't have five dispatchers working for you from day one, it needs to be a system to where that can already be in place. That's what a business is. That's scalable. But you see the how freight dispatchers are attempting to build their business, they're not building a scalable business model, and that's not sustainable. So really we don't see the success that we should see in freight dispatching. Like I said before, go do your market research. 97% of the market, 97%, and as I say, the market, that means 97% of the marketing you see within the freight dispatch industry would just be speaking about the front end. I can book you the highest paying lows. It's all what I can do for you. It's not like, here's my successful members, Kizzie. It's like, it's not like what I have done for people, right? And that creates distrust because that doesn't sound believable. So that's why no drivers are signing up. That's why it's so hard for dispatchers to sign up drivers because it does not sound believable at all. The marketing does not sound believable because it's all the front end. And that's because actually, like, I'm not over exaggerating, I'm under exaggerating when I say 97% of aspiring freight dispatchers never sign up a driver and never generate revenue. The only thing you got to do is immediately after this live, go right into the market and look for yourself. And you can easily identify that everybody is just talking about the front end of the business. No one's talking about results. Your customers want to hear about results, like how do you get to results, right? And that is caused because the market is misaligned. Most people are only studying and learning and taking courses about the back end. And what that does, that stops revenue from being generated in the industry. So I can tell you, guarantee without a doubt, as more people take on the ideas that I'm speaking about, then you're going to hear people talking about the drivers that they have. How many? Oh, I got three dispatchers. I got three dispatchers within my company right now. I've helped owner operators scale. I've worked owner operators out of the truck, and now they have a second, third, and fourth trucks. And I'm saying I'm being blatantly honest because I care about the owner operators more than anything, right? So I'm willing to just give it to you straight up like it is, right? Because if I don't give it to you straight up how it is, it's affecting the owner operators' businesses, right? Because dispatchers are coming in and they can't really scale an owner operators trucking business, and that's hurting the owner operators, right? So I'm not just here to sell training. I'm just not here to sell mentorship. I've been doing that for years and years and years. I could care less about that. I'm here to actually start seeing trucking businesses improve. And by what I'm saying, I tell you the future. By what I'm putting out, and as dispatchers listen to what I'm saying, it's going to help owner operators scale. They're going to stop being like Kizzie's. Her owner operators, they're not owner operators forever. She's helping them to be fleet owners. So really everything that I'm saying, like I said, I have an operating system. So anything that I'm saying, I got the proof to back it up. I'm already doing it. It's just not a bunch of talk. Like, it's actually happening in real time. Yep, yep. So share the outline again. Yeah, and then I say all that just to say, let me go back and put myself back on video. So that's what it's exciting for me, right? I wouldn't want to just stay stagnant, just selling training and just selling courses and people not getting anywhere. I would say people got places with my training and courses, but like I said, ideas get old after so long. They don't work as well, right? So I had to switch and have a proven operating system. And now this is going to start helping freight dispatchers scale, generate more revenue. My goal is I got bigger goals, right? I'm just not thinking about like selling a training, a course, or I'm just not thinking about selling an operating system. I'm thinking about, I want to see freight dispatchers start making passive income, right? I want to see the person out there that's worried about their job, that's worried about AI taking over, worried about layoffs. I want to give them peace of mind, right? Let's get to that. That's what you want to give your owner operators, peace of mind, not just book loads for them, but you want an operating system that's able to manifest peace of mind into their life, right? Like I said, I got bigger plans after this. I'm not done. I'm past. In the spirit, I'm past freight dispatching, right? I'm somewhere bigger, right? So I got bigger stuff to get to. This is not the end all be all for me. Bigger things to get to, more to do in life. So, what eventually happens? So, when the structure is not scalable, what eventually happens? Leads receive slow responses, follow up becomes inconsistent, sales activity declines, drivers receive less attention, right? Because if you're signing up more if you're doing everything and you sign up 2 or 3 drivers, and then if you sign up more, since you don't have an operating system, then the drivers that each driver you sign up receives less attention. See, then you're not able to manifest as much value into your customer's business. So that's like if it was just me working, if it was just me helping people launch their freight dispatch business, that means that's really not scalable. And maybe see if I'm just back when I was just selling training and courses, if it's just me, that's not really scalable. So that means like each person I sign up, it's less attention. I can only be spread so far, right? But now now see my members like Kizzie, she has an operating system. She's able to help out other people. So as I sign up more people, help them to become successful, they're able to help out the new people, right? It's an operating system. Right. So now I'm able to scale further. I'm able to get people further because it's just not me.
Absolutely correct, Antoine. And so each one teach one.
Right.
That's the method here, because as you teach me, I teach others, then they can teach others. Because, of course, quite naturally, I'm busy in my trucking business and I may not be available right that second, but the next one who's right behind me is they're available, and they can teach you exactly what I taught them, and
Mhm.
so on and so on and so on. And as we can continue to scale and grow, um, even within your business, as far as with the LBOs coming in for the revenue launch, you know what I'm saying, that energy, same energy manifests into my business. As you grow, so does my owner operator um, outreach, or so does the signups for me and my business. So I think it's all about manifesting together and how fast we can help one another just by, excuse me, tapping into that energy
Yep,
of
definitely.
knowledge, wealth, and togetherness.
Right. Definitely. So one of the main key points to hear in everything we said, like I always say, is the law of attraction. You see how everything we're saying, it can always increase. It's unlimited. I don't never have to stop. I don't never have to, like I can get an unlimited amount of people to do this, right? Because I already have a system in place that see it's going to work for itself. See, that's what your dispatch business got to be. How I said and Kizzy said, as each one teach one. As I sign up more people, help them to become successful. As Kizzy gets further and further down the road, see, she's already where you want to be. She's already way past that. So she's able to lead you every step of the way. So you can see the law of attraction in the business. Like it's a system, it's going to work. And it's going to be able to get an increase in the amount of people in it. And I don't got to figure out, I don't have to figure out, like, oh, if I get all these people to come in, what am I going to do? See, that's how your freight dispatch business needs to be from day one. It's like, oh, it's too easy. It's already set up.
And that's just like my owner operator who had the fleet, and we leased people on through him, and now people that have leased on through him are now scaling and getting second and third trucks and getting fleet. So each one teach one. We all in this collaboratively working together, even within the revenue launch system, and I duplicate that same energy into my business.
Right. Yep. You guys are plugging into a proven operating system. So basically, once you plug into this operating system, your business, it already has an operating system. So you're not trying to figure on day one, you're not trying to figure out like, oh, what am I going to do about this or that? See, that's what creates the misalignment. And that's why people don't generate revenue, because you would have to figure all that out. Like, what do I do? What about this? What about that? See, so operating system is no, what about this? What about that? Or what do I do? It's just operating. Go on. So the revenue launch system solution. The revenue launch system separates the founder from every individual task. The founder leads the operating system. You just want to lead the operating system. Specialized team members work within the departments: marketing, sales, onboarding, operations, right? One thing that we can also do, we'll start here doing more here in the future. And this was what I built it to do, right? Because so when I first started this, I'm like, right now, every freight dispatcher is getting on a sales call themselves. Like even within my business, even for the revenue launch system, I'm not always the one getting on a phone call with people. I got staff that can get on a phone call with people who want to sign up, right? And those same staff members, they can get on a phone call. And this is, we'll start doing this more. Okay, I tell you, my whole goal of the revenue launch system over time, I'm going to work you out of your business more and more and more. So where you don't even have to get on the phone call with owner operators. What it's going to be here soon is where owner operators reach out to you to sign up for your company like real business. It's going to be one of your staff members. It's going to be somebody that already has sales experience within this business with signing up owner operators. And I say that's the way everything would be, not just in the dispatch industry. I'm basically just telling you where the economy, where the market will go to. And you can see how everything we explain with the revenue launch system. See, the revenue launch system is the solution for the economy. It is the solution for all the pain points people are having in their businesses, because now you can start a business and get somebody on a sales call, and it don't have to be you. It can be somebody that's already experienced in the operating system. Say they get on a phone call and sign the driver up. Somebody can get on the phone call, sign the driver up, send a dispatch agreement out, dispatch them and everything. See, now people are thinking about themselves doing everything, but that's not an operating system. And I'll tell you, guarantee, like I said, I'm just getting in alignment with where God is taking the business world, right? This just ain't me. I'm just, I've studied, I have intuition myself. I know where things are going to where that's the next stage. It used to be free information online on social media. Then it was, after free information got outdated, then it was training courses where you join that training course. Then it was mentorship, right? Now it's an operating system. It's not getting there. It already is. That's why the market is so misaligned, because most people are still stuck on the old idea. But basically, it's getting to where you just make an investment in your business and you don't work. That's how it's supposed to be. You don't work. And I'll even tell you the future of business and the future of my AI operating system. Like the future of business is where you just make an investment, then you use AI videos to where the AI, imagine this. Imagine this, if you will. Let me put the future in your mind before the future fully gets here, right? Because I got to know the future. If I'm going somewhere, I already got to know what's going to happen in the future. So the future is you start a freight dispatch business, you you utilize AI videos that look exactly like you. I'm talking like this whole time I'm AI and you don't, yeah, like this whole time I'm AI and you never knew it, right? Imagine that if I was, and maybe I am AI right now. You know, maybe I am. No, I'm just playing. I'm not AI. But say this whole time I was AI. Hey, this how I'm going to be too. Hey, this the future of Antoine West. Yeah, it's gonna be these 3 hours, and it's just gonna be a whole AI video from me, and you never know. That's what we moving into, right? You gonna add something, Kizzy?
I was gonna say this. You're okay with the AI doing a live. See, I think the whole purpose of live is to get the real person.
Right. I
See,
think it just.
AI, we
Mhm.
already using that, you know what I'm saying, for many things. But I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
can't. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard for me to imagine a AI me doing a live for 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah. I got you, but even just a recorded training video, a recorded video too. So
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah,
that I can see that a
r-
recorded one.
right. See, I already know like none of the videos I have online are AI, but I'm about to end it here soon for you kids. Don't worry about to be ending. We going on about 3 hours and 30 minutes, so we about to be ending it. But so yeah, imagine in the future, this is where we're going to. Say you starting a freight, and this even when I started the boot camp, when I just originally started this, and this is the reason I'm doing this because this is the way, the place I know we're headed. Right, where we're headed is you just make an investment, we get your video of you and be able to use an AI video. Nobody's going to be able to tell that that's an AI video of you. And the AI video is just saying exactly what owner operators want to hear, the exact pain points of owner operators and the exact solutions in the AI video of you. And then when they reach out for a strategy call or a sales call, it's one of my representatives. And I'm saying, so this is the next phase of the revenue launch system. So I'm telling you the future of what I'm doing, and everything I'm saying and doing is just leading there. So then we use those. You don't do nothing. That's where business is going to. You don't do anything. You make one single investment, and you make that investment, and it might be a monthly fee or whatever. So then the AI video of you, we use the AI video of you, and then people reach out for the sales calls. It's somebody within the operating system that's already been taking sales calls from previous members. They're going to take the sales calls. They're going to sign the owner operators up. They're going to send out the dispatch agreement, all that, get it signed back, do all the paperwork, and then in the operating system, they're going to start dispatching a driver, and you never do anything. You just somewhere making money. You just somewhere and your money steadily increasing, and you don't do anything. That's the next phase.
Passive income, predictable passive income, should I say?
Yep. Yep. Definitely. Just imagine that if you never have to do anything. See, now people trying to do everything, but just imagine if you just make an investment, and then from that investment you make, your money is just always increasing without you ever having to do, I say ever any work at all. Right. And I was just say that's what it's going to be for me. Of course, I'm going towards that direction, like where it's going to be my AI video giving away good information. And then, yeah, I'm going to be the same. Me and you going to be the same. We ain't going to be doing nothing, nothing
Making
at
money
all.
in our sleep.
Yep. That's just where the world, see. So now we got to be pulling up towards that way, not the old way. That's not the way it's going to be. That's fading away. We got to be going towards seeing everything in my program is going in that direction now because I already know what it's going to be in the future. Right.
Yeah, not looking backwards, but moving forward with speed, with haste, moving
Yep.
forward. Because if
Yep.
you look backwards, you'll turn into a pillar of salt.
That's right. Yep.
That's in the
That's right.
word.
That's in the word. That's like Ruth. Ruth looked back, and she turned into a pillar of salt. So that parable is explaining stagnation. So that parable, like you say, you just like read the Bible and read parables, and you know what's going on in the world, like the economy. See, most people in the economy right now, most of us in the mind, we're looking backwards. So that causes stagnation in our life, and then the money and the profit and the revenue, it causes things to slow down, but we don't want that. We want to be speeding up. So the whole purpose of this live is to get people to look forward and not being like Ruth looking backwards, turning into a pillar of salt. That's about all I have. Been about 3 hours and 30 minutes. If you didn't catch this live since the beginning, just make sure you go back and watch it. If Kizzie, you got any final words, we'll wrap it up from here.
I would just like to say to any aspiring dispatchers who are on this live, or if you have previously had training and you still looking for like the next step, come on and join the Revenue Launch Operating System, where you're going to be supported, where you're going to be developed, and where you're going to be um, successful.
Yep. Well, I thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you, Kizzie. Kizzie never knew it was going to last this long. I didn't think so either. Like I said, she already had a long day. Probably got more stuff to do. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.